Sargent. The Eye of Ra with Ra Castaldo. The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray. Ironworks with Josh Corey. The Kev Baker Show. And dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117? Or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR Live. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Alberto takes aim. The North Korea summit. I'm Ann Cates. Subtropical storm Alberto has come ashore on the Florida Panhandle, packing torrential rains. Meteorologist Tom Sater says the impact of Alberto will be widespread.
Along the Panhandle, parts of Alabama, look out Nashville, heavy rain. This thing's going to go all the way to the Great Lakes. In the next 5 days, the forecast shows that rain pattern. It will drop off in intensity, obviously, but still with all the rain that's fallen in the eastern U.S., this is a concern and one to watch for the next couple of days.
Alberto could dump 4 to 8 inches of rain on parts of Florida, Alabama, and Georgia, and up to a foot in isolated spots. There are signs the U.S. summit with North Korea that was abruptly canceled by President Trump last week may be on again. Correspondent Barbara Starr.
A U.S. team on the ground in North Korea. By all accounts, they are talking to them about substance. In other words, seeing if it's even possible to develop a communique that both sides could sign after the summit. What would be included in that, of course, remains a top question. And would Kim Jong-un sign it? There is another delegation in Singapore. That's more logistics planning, looking at hotel spaces, conference spaces.
Ivanka Trump has acquired new trademarks in China as her father, the president, continues trade talks with Beijing.
7 trademarks were registered to Ivanka Trump this month with China's State Administration for Industry and Commerce for kitchenware items, furniture, paper products, and cosmetics. The approvals come as President Trump remains engaged in trade negotiations with China on a wide range of issues. Some ethics experts say this raises conflict of interest concerns since Ivanka and her husband Jared Kushner both serve as senior advisors in the White House. Mike Kremidas, Washington.
Wall Street may gain ground tomorrow. S&P futures up by 3 points. The NASDAQ futures up 27. The Dow futures up 35. I'm Ann Cates.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked ones obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
Astronauts to the moon.
Ten, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Not to get off track here, but I feel like we're in the Truman Show, and we're in a snow globe, and they just shook it up.
Welcome to reality.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. You're tuned into your protection from deception right here at truthfrequencyradio.com. And hi-ho, not you. You are tuned in correctly and dialed in appropriately to the #1 show on TFR on Monday nights from the hours of 6 to 9 p.m. Pacific, 9 to midnight Eastern. That show is Jeranism Monday Night Raw, and it starts now. I'm your host, Jeran from Jeranism, and with me, as she is every Monday, Missa, the amazing one. Missa, how are you?
Amazing.
That's it? You're just as your name calls for?
Well, yeah.
Well, hello. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Glad you can make it this week.
I'm excited for the people who are here listening, too.
Oh, me too.
Because they must just be ecstatic and having the time of their lives.
I picture party in the streets, Mardi Gras, kind of a lot of flashing of breasts. It's really strange.
I'm more of a butt person. in terms of girls.
Do you get beads for butts?
No, I am a like, you have to have those perfect boobs. They would have to be like a not a big C, but like a small C. Mine are nowhere close to that, but I have it in my head what would be the perfect boobs if they were to flash at me. Because I don't want just any old flashing of the titties in my face.
So that's what's on your mind right now?
Well, you got it on my mind because you started talking about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know I did that.
It's really easy, I guess, to get things on my mind. I don't know.
Very easy. I didn't know it was so easy. I will use that going forward.
Good.
Hello to everyone. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it as always. Sorry we get sidestepped. If you've never listened to the show before, it always goes better than this, the beginning.
Always.
Today we're a little bit off our normal perfect pentameter.
Yeah, every other show is much better. But I mean, this one's pretty good so far.
Yeah, so far it's not bad. But we do appreciate you guys joining us as you do each and every week, or maybe this is your first time, and in that case, we appreciate that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So hello to everyone wherever you might be, whether it be standing upright or upside down in the southern hemisphere.
Mm-hmm.
We feel bad for you. We're sorry that you are regulated to the upside down areas of the globe. We do apologize for that. It wasn't us who did that, but it was the Big Bang. Exploded, and that's just where you ended up when you morphed out of your stardustness.
Wow, totally non-sexual though, by the way.
Totally non-sexual.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing NASA does is sexual, really.
No, not really.
No, they don't write sex in the clouds or.
Mm-mm.
I mean, Elon Musk is so, I don't know, infatuated with sex, like a little boy.
Yeah.
That his models of his car went the Model S, then the Model E, then the Model X. I mean, that's.
Did they really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really sad. Really sad. So, I don't know where we got on that, but...
Sorry, go ahead.
Pretty bad.
We actually have a theme for tonight, which is actually rare for us.
A theme? Can you believe it?
Yeah, no.
I can't either.
And I bet our listeners who are regular listeners can't believe it either. And they probably won't believe it until the show's over, if we actually stay on the theme itself. But I'm pretty sure we will.
We will.
Yeah.
It's going to be a night, first and foremost, for callers.
Mm-hmm.
So... if you want to call in, we encourage it. We're actually going to make it a Ask Us Anything night.
Oh, where's the sound bite for that? Whoa.
I don't really have one.
It's probably not like that either. But.
That was awesome.
That's about the best I got for that.
Okay.
So, what the show will probably end up being is more like a, I don't know, when you're driving and then you... a little bit of a car crash. That's probably what I'm expecting. But
tell us why that we are having a Ask Us Anything evening.
Well, I think many people are confused. I don't know how many, but quite a few. And I can understand why. A lot of things go on in the, let's call it the flat earth world or in the truther world, and it's easy to get tripped up, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
when you don't ask directly
yeah,
the questions that you have, then you can get tripped up pretty easily.
So you may have some misconceptions about us. You may have some misconceptions about me or an experiment or something. We are going to take a listen real quickly to Matthew Powerland or Boyland, or I don't know what his real name is. Do you?
I believe it's Boylan, Boylan.
Okay, Boylan, Matthew Boylan. Just happened to tune into one of his uploads where he basically spends the first half playing the most obnoxious, hellacious crap music you've ever heard.
The most soothing, gentle symphonies.
If it puts you to sleep, you are a demon. Let's just say that.
Oh.
And he was talking about this movie, Behind the Curve. If you haven't heard about that, it's a documentary that is at the Canada Hot Docs Film Festival that Miss and I were in. I'm not totally thrilled about it, totally thrilled about the documentary at all, but that's besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
What happens here is Matthew's going to explain to his audience something about that film. Let's
and
listen.
Something about us.
And something about us. So let's
that's
listen
completely
in.
Wrong.
I don't know how he got a hold of it, so watch it for free. It's just missing 3 scenes at the end, which are apparently the typical conclusion. These people are insane. Well, first off, showing a flat Earth experiment fail, which is Jeran and Dubé. It's very important that you understand that footage of Jeran with a laser is
sponsored by Dubé.
Well, they're working together at that point. Right. So Eric Dubé and Jeran did a huge mishap. I don't know why the laser experiment that failed is in this movie that was over 3 years ago, especially since Jeran knows it failed, and especially when Jeran took money from Eric Dubé, of all people, to produce a failed experiment, and everybody knows it didn't work. So I don't know how the footage got there. I mean, was Jeran still leaving a failed flat Earth experiment up on his channel? I mean...
And here comes the capper line from his wife / baby mama. Mm-hmm. Let's listen to what she's got to throw in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they just...
little inconsistencies that you people don't keep up with.
If you couldn't hear that, and I'm not sure how the sound is, she just said, it's the little inconsistencies that you people don't keep up with.
So let's begin with the little inconsistencies that they have not kept up with.
Holy smokes.
Go ahead, baby. Begin.
So let's lay it out in case anybody believes this cockamamie story. Way back when, and I'm talking 2015, probably
July.
June, July, yes. There was we had a point from Pacific Grove to, I guess that would be Sand City.
Yeah, something like that.
It was about 4 miles across the water. We had decided we wanted to do a laser test, but we didn't have...
This is very baby young times. We didn't know anything about anything.
No, we didn't even have a laser, so I put out a thing, hey, can I borrow somebody's laser? That's when I got an email from Bob, my co-host on Globebusters, who said, I'd like to buy you a laser since my son's name is Jeran and I like your information. Great. He sends me a laser, and I said, oh, well, right during that time, before Bob sent me the email, I had said to people, if everybody wants to donate $1, then I'll buy a laser. They're about, it was donating $1 for the cameraman.
Right, cameraman, right.
It's the little inconsistencies that I can't keep up with.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So Bob bought the laser, and then we said, well, we want to film it. We want to have a film guy there. And somebody had contacted us and said somebody local was a film guy, right? And was interested in Flat Earth or heard about it or something.
Right.
So we contacted this guy, Patrick.
Yep.
I don't know how I remember that name.
Very good.
Contacted this guy. He charged us, or he said it would be $200 for him to basically film for 2 hours.
It was like a nice camera or whatever.
Yeah, and he was going to do this whole filming thing. So we said, okay, great. So I made a video and said, hey, everybody donate $1. If I get this $200, I'll secure this cameraman. So the dollars started coming in. I had $30 or $40, and all of a sudden, I got a $200 donation from Eric Dubé. Now, this was before Eric Dubé and I had ever talked. I didn't know anything about him. I mean, I knew
this is 2015, by the way. Everyone remember.
And so I said, oh, awesome. Thank you, Eric, so much. I appreciate that. I then updated my video when you used to be able to put annotations on there and said, okay, no more donations. I've already secured the cameraman. We've got it. We're done. Thank you to Eric Dubé. I posted something on Facebook. You can still find it there if you go look at my Facebook. So everything was good with that. Miss and I went the next night to go kind of scope the area. We went and shot the laser across the water. Everything looked good. We felt good about it. We said, let's do it. We're doing it tomorrow. So we called the cameraman, said, show up tomorrow. We're ready to do it. So he showed up, and it was kind of a crap fest because I didn't have a charger on me. My phone had full power when I got there. It was like 7:15. I decided to go live, and then my battery started running low. We sent Missa to the other side as it got dark, and by that time my phone had died. We were using the cameraman's phone to talk to Missa. When she was looking at the laser on the other side, she said, I don't even see a small beam. I see a beam about 10 feet in diameter. So we said, oh, man, okay, well, I guess it's not going to work. And we were all upset because we had this cameraman come out and everything. But then while she was over there, she noticed that she could see us playing with the laser on our side. And I said, well, do you see it when I put it on this rock? And do you see this? She goes, yeah, I can see it. And we said, wait a second, maybe we're doing this wrong. So we said, come back and let's talk. So she's driving back, and myself and the cameraman are sitting there, and we're discussing the idea, well, why don't we bring the optics to the laser rather than the laser across the water? So I said, hey, would you be willing to come tomorrow? Which he hadn't done much filming, so he was fine with that. He said, sure. I said, come tomorrow, and my wife and I will be on the other side. You'll be on this side. Bring your camera, set it up 3 feet above the water, zoom in, and we'll call you on the phone, and we'll be pointing the laser at a little board. So it was not a failed laser experiment. It was actually one of the best experiments we've done so far.
And it was the very first one we had ever done.
Well, second one if you count. Second night.
Which, by the way, this is the most second important thing, is the filmage or the footage that was taken of the experiment in 2015 was not the footage that was in the documentary.
Absolutely not. No. So that footage is still on my channel, the one from Patrick, the one from 2015. Then we had found, this is years later, this is 2017, late 2017.
So last year.
I almost want to say November.
Mm-hmm.
And we had found a channel or a canal in Holt, California, that is 3.88 miles long on a straight shot, straight road next to a canal. We had talked about the idea of getting the level of the water. Everybody knows that recent experiment we tried to do. So that's when I got a phone call from the producers of this documentary saying, hey, we heard you're doing a experiment. Can we come film it? And I said,
sure,
I thought about it to myself and said, why not? I said, if they come and film it, it relinquishes me from having to worry about the filming part of it. So I can worry about the experiment. I don't have to worry about I got to have my camera on me. Who's filming me? I got to get all this stuff. No, let a documentary crew film it. And I was thinking that the test was going to be successful. How could they distort that or change that? And if it wasn't successful and we proved that the Earth was a globe, then so be it.
Yeah.
That was my attitude. I'm not in this for, well, if it's going to prove the globe, I don't want them to show it.
Right.
No, that's not what I'm in this for.
That was beside the that was like a side note, the documentary people coming, because we had already been planning this for a month or so.
I had already been out there with Enrique one night to test the laser.
Yeah.
So we were feeling fine. Okay, you guys can come out. And they brought a whole crew out. There was 5 or 6 people. I don't know. And
they were kind of in the background, not really doing anything.
Didn't
just
really
filming.
notice them. Yeah. And so that first night that we went is the night that the laser melted on the casing. Basically, I had to have it drilled out, and we got this custom focuser beam. And
that was a pain in the ass. By the way.
but when we put that on the thing, and then we left the laser on for too long, it burned and it was stuck. So I couldn't adjust it anymore. It was basically we had to eventually, and it was at home that we finally got it off with pliers and everything, which kind of wrecked the laser.
Both of us, we were like pulling on it and whatever.
Finally got it off.
Yeah.
So anyway, then it was like
phase 1 of the experiment. They didn't even come back and film the second time.
They did.
We wanted to come back even the third and fourth time though, and they didn't. They weren't going to come.
No, that was the thing. They had called me and said, "Are you going to do a redo?" And I said, "Yeah, we're going to go back. Can you please come film it because I don't want the first experiment being in the documentary, which was the thing melting on the freaking laser."
Exactly.
So they said, "Okay, well, let us know when you're going to be there, and we'll try and send somebody out." Well, they only could send Daniel out. So the second time, we only had one camera person show up, and that was the producer of the movie, Daniel.
Okay.
And the second time we did it, it was another time where I would say the results were neither here nor there. They were, and we even had a globe believer who was there with us and was kind of in my ear the whole time. And when we walked away from the experiment, he even said, well, there's no proof that can come of this experiment.
Either way.
Because there was times where we saw things that would lead you to believe that the Earth was flat. And there was times that we saw things that would lead you to believe that it was, in fact, a globe. So there was no preponderance of evidence. Now, what they did at the end of this movie, from what I've heard, I haven't seen the end scene, is the movie ends with a point in time that was in the middle of that experiment where we'd already seen some proofs that were leading towards flat. At one point in time, because the beam diameter wasn't staying as slender as we needed it, we were having somebody step in and out from behind a panel. And they were holding a flashlight. And because from my camera zoomed in, we could see through the hole on the far panel whether or not they were behind the panel or in front or next to it.
Right.
At one point, we told him step behind the panel, and we expected to see the light. And we said, "Are you holding the light?" And he said, "Yes, I'm holding it at my chest." And we said, "Oh, we don't see it." And we said, "Hold it above your head." And when he held it above his head, we saw the light, which would lead you to believe that what was happening is we were looking through the hole of the third panel, and because the Earth curves, that was the case, then when he held it up, that we were seeing through the circle of the panel and seeing him hold up the light rather than see it at his chest, as we should have seen if we were looking through all the holes in flat. So at that point, I said, interesting. And we did more tests, and now there was times where we asked him to step behind the panel and hold the light at his chest, and we did see the light. And we told him to hold it up above his head, and when he held it above his head, we did not see it. So in that case, then the Earth is flat. And that's why even the globe believer said we saw both results tonight.
Yeah.
That there was, we couldn't have anything definitive. And that's why I never even made a video to show that, because there's no use in people arguing over something that literally is not definitive.
It was inconclusive. That's why we never made a video about it. But then the documentary people only filmed, they only filmed what was
Or they only
there.
took the one scene that was just a random happening, and they have the movie end with me saying interesting when it shows what looks like a globe.
At least the end that we saw, or I
haven't seen that. This is just what I've heard.
So basically, and they didn't explain the experiment for people to understand it anyways. They were just showing people doing experiments.
And to be honest, we saw a pretty good majority of the movie, and we thought it was decent. I mean,
it was like whatever.
It was pretty.
I thought it was lackluster myself. But
they could have gone they call it a hit piece. I hear other flat earthers like this guy calling it a hit piece. It's not a hit piece. If they wanted to do a hit piece, they could have done a hit piece.
Yeah.
Now it so happens that Matthew himself was kind of a butt of a joke, and that's because he made demands that nobody else made. That when they called me, I didn't make any demands as to what I wanted to be in the film. But that's his prerogative. Yeah. He's allowed to do that. Now they took that and said, well, we're going to use your footage from YouTube and put you in the movie anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with that at all.
They sort of did things childishly to me, from my perspective. Yeah.
And if Matt asked me to be on his side in court, I would be there saying, absolutely, this guy was misrepresented. He said he didn't want to be in the film. I signed a document saying that I was okay with being in the film. He did not. Therefore, there's no reason why we're both in the film. That's the truth of the matter. However, when this guy goes and makes claims that now I'm in the movie with a failed experiment that Dubé paid for
from
3 years ago.
2015.
Complete and total nonsense. And then to have his wife chime, it's the little details that you guys don't hang around.
The little inconsistencies.
Oh, boy.
So basically.
It's the little details that you guys, and I understand that. It's been, but you need to look into things first, because what you're saying makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
So that's why we said, let's have a night where everyone can call in and ask whatever they want. Maybe they have questions about some certain test, some experiment,
maybe they heard something about us. They want to know
some portion of our lives.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phones. We've already got a caller. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Hey, Jeran, it's Ryan from Niagara Falls. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Ryan, what's up?
Not much. Great that you and Missa are both together. Just want to say again, thanks for everything that you do, because you guys absolutely knock it out of the park every time. Your live stream yesterday was great, and I wish I could have stayed awake for the end of it, but I was dead tired. But either way, I just want to say thanks again, and you can mute me now.
You don't have a question or anything? Hi. Thanks for calling in. Do you have a question or anything you want to say, or you just wanted to say hi?
This is your opportunity, man. You can ask anything.
Just wanted to say hi. Well, no, then we're going to go into the wrestling realm.
I don't mind that.
You guys got to focus on your stuff.
You can ask us about that, or ask him about it.
Yeah.
He knows everything about wrestling.
Well, you were at WrestleMania 32.
Ooh.
Remember?
Me? Are you talking to me? Oh, yes. I thought you were talking to him. Yes, I was at WrestleMania 32.
Let's see if let's quiz her. Who won the title at WrestleMania 32?
Oh, that was the Rollins, Seth Rollins.
Very good.
Yeah. He's one of my faves.
Was he in the championship match? Is that why he won it?
No, he stole it. He'd used his suitcase.
Very good. Oh, I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Money in the bank.
Money in the bank.
Yeah, there it goes.
He cashed it in.
The bank?
Yeah, Money in the Bank, baby.
Yep.
Cashed it in.
I shouldn't know that, but I do.
Oh, I know it's kind of nonsense knowledge.
Very strange people like wrestling, but if you like it, then you understand why, and people that also like it all understand why. It's a very cool community.
And I've always said this: there's a certain type of person that is the world, the wrestling fan. It's a certain type of person, very old soul-ish, even if they're not awake. Very accepting of people. A very different type of person.
Now, WrestleMania this year was hilarious.
No.
We watched it, and they have now a wrestler that is a big woman, and they actually announced her weight coming to the ring. They didn't announce any other woman's weight because they weigh like $110. And this girl comes to the ring, and they're like weighing in at 225 pounds because she accepts herself. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what do you? You're making a mockery of it. Yeah. And then they had another wrestler who came out wearing rainbow pants, and they're like, oh, he's so accepting of the gay community. It's like, what is going on? That was it was kind of gender. Oh no, it was totally sellout kind of
weird little jabs.
Man, yeah, just weird. It was really weird. Anyway, any final question, or we'll let you
off
go.
Air. It's just off air. You want to talk about wrestling? Anytime, I want to talk to you, man. Because
all right.
You sure do. It's a fun.
I'm out of this. Yeah, I'm out of it.
We're out of the loop as well, and
we can talk old wrestling with you.
Old wrestling,
forever.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't watched anything in a year besides WrestleMania, which the Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
That was pretty balmy. That was
a great
cool.
match. That was a great match.
She's pretty cool. I'm glad that she's in it now. I think that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So let's go to the next caller. You're on Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Hi, this is Paul. My name online is NASA CGI Snakes. I just wanted to give a shout out to yourself, and then I'd like to say, a shout out to Ginger Sugarbush 905, which he's doing a live stream on you right now. And I just want to say you guys do great work, and flat power to everybody. And that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Well, thanks for the call. We appreciate that. This is going to be an easy night if we just have these kind of questions.
Pretty nice.
Appreciate that. Let's go to the next caller. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Hey, Jeran, it's Jay from Canada.
What's up, Jay from Canada?
Hello, Canada.
Sorry, the little song. Not too bad. Not too bad. Hey, I just had a few things to say to you. One thing was, I know I'm a little late to call about that Aaron Raw interview, but I just watched that D. Murphy interview with those clowns last night.
I watched it today as well.
Changed.
No, they won't.
I can't believe I tuned into those guys again. The other thing I wanted to say was you've mentioned a couple things. Like a few months ago, Missa said something about how would SpaceX be used to against NASA or something like that. And I have this little theory where I think that SpaceX is going to be involved in an accident with the ISS. And probably kill all people on board the ISS, then that space program will be taken care of, because we can't get to the moon, we can't get to Mars, we can't get out of low Earth orbit. So they use SpaceX to take out NASA. NASA will just go into the dustbin of history. It'll still be heroes because of their moon landing back in the day. And
you're absolutely right.
What do you think of that? Do you think that's sort of possible?
Yeah. In fact, I think I've predicted it two New Year's days in a row. I predicted that there'll be some sort of accident in space that will cause them to no longer do space missions with men. They'll say they need to do robotic missions because, and I think that Elon Musk, in my opinion, and goes against basically every flat earther I know, is a absolute idiot. I think that he is a child that they have allowed to basically run amok and just make up things, and he doesn't even know. I think that they fool, the whole thing is fooling even him. And I think what will eventually happen is that he's going to be the fall guy. That's why you have no face of NASA, because it's easier to have a fall guy, and the fall guy you build him up. You build him up as this super genius, and he's boring underneath LA, and he's doing all these fantastic things, the Tesla cars, and then you have him kill a bunch of people on the space station. He's the fall guy, and then NASA kind of takes back over and says, okay, we'll just do robotic missions, and people will say, yeah, it's too dangerous for us to send people anymore because look what happened. It's a dangerous thing.
But I do think that they can't just do away, they can't have NASA just fall by the wayside. I think they have to keep NASA around. That's the only way they can keep the idea of space real.
Hey, appreciate the call. Hopefully that answered your question. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Phone call.
Tell me about the waters of your homeland, Morty.
It is well known that the key to escaping the Matrix is purifying your consciousness. But our consciousness is bombarded daily with chemicals in the air we breathe, the food we eat, and the water we drink. This is why we are proud to bring you TFRwater.com, where you can get the Alexa Pure water filtration system. Unlike typical water filters, the Alexa Pure comes standard in stainless steel to keep your water free of BPA and dangerous chemicals found in plastic. This revolutionary water filtration system removes 99.999% of all contaminants, including fluoride, a dangerous neurotoxin added to drinking water, which was first used in Russian gulags to keep prisoners docile. This is standard without the need for expensive add-ons. The Alexa Pure retails for $199, but you can get $50 off by going to TFRwater.com now. Supplies are limited. 4 per person, please.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to, so I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about AngioPrim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking AngioPrim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in AngioPrim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call AngioPrim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
Once in a decade, a true story comes along that remembers the future. After 6 Amazon bestsellers, I have completed the epic Birth Trilogy, a true story of Earth. By reading the Birth Trilogy, you will journey with the characters from the origin of Earth to its final destiny in a white-knuckle ride that combines the intrigue of Tom Clancy with the epic scope of Prometheus and Interstellar. You will learn more about the purpose of life, the mystery of death, and the true nature of your soul than you thought possible. The Birth Trilogy is now available on Amazon and Kindle. The audio version is a free bonus when you buy the paperback, so even if you're not a great reader, don't worry about it. I read it for you. Use the Amazon app today and buy the Birth Trilogy, spelled B-E-A-R-T-H, or search for my name. I'm Brooks Agnew.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio. Welcome back to the evening of Monday night show, Raw. I thought that maybe you guys would want to hear a sultry, feminine voice of reason.
Horrible. Oh no!
I just keep hearing these.
Get out! Get out of here! The Sky Fogel has escaped.
Oh, that's rude. I just keep hearing these commercials on our radio show here that just make me laugh, like and no, you will wait to hear the most amazing show of the evening, and I'm like, oh my god, do I need to talk like that? Maybe that's what we're missing.
It's very sultry.
Whew. It takes a lot of energy out of you, though.
All right, let me
sorry, everybody.
Check here. So we have no calls, so if you guys want to call in, the phone number, in case you don't know it, is 213-233-3998. It is the Ask Us Anything night. Hopefully we get a call from Matthew who can get his story straight. But I don't think that's going to happen.
And here's a little ditty for it. Ask us anything. Ask us anything. Like that.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
I
I actually pre-recorded it, but you couldn't tell. It was a button. I'm just kidding.
You pre-recorded it? Excuse me.
Sorry.
Oh, man. I had that little throat thing going
Oh,
there.
yeah, I know. You get that a lot when I say most of the things that...
You better cut it out right now or I'll pound you.
Okay. Oh.
Interesting. Okay. Anyway.
So.
Back to reality. We've got Drone Free Zone, who's in the chat room, saying some things. Let's see what he's got to say.
Who is Jones?
I don't know. He's.
Jones.
I told him to call in, and he said that he doesn't want to reveal his voice. So.
Well, then use a voice changer, dude. And basically, phone call voices, you can't even
We would
recognize.
never know who you are.
Nah,
he basically
dude.
says, when and if the flat Earth theory is disproven, will Jeran eat his old hat? So,
Okay, yeah, you can talk all the shit you want until we hear your own voice. That's going to be I'm sorry. What was it again?
yeah, you get real tough. I like that.
Sorry. Maybe I didn't hear it correctly.
Or it says, or continue onward in the theory, refusing to listen to reason. So I would love to listen to reason, but I have not been given that part of the interaction yet.
Yeah.
So, and if you watch my live stream from last night, by the way, I'm really excited that I'm back. I have live capabilities. I like to do the live stream, so check out last night's show. But I just go into the fact of how much you have to concede to believe in the globe.
Yep.
In fact, here's a crazy statement from a flat earther.
Ooh.
If somebody asked me, Jeran, is there more evidence for the flat earth or for the globe earth? I would tell you there's more evidence for the globe earth, but there's more evidence against the globe earth. That when you take the entire package, if you're just looking to prove the globe, it's the easiest thing in the world. It's so easy. They've handed you everything.
They have explanations for everything.
You should have heard, the last caller was talking about the non sequitur show with Dave Murphy. You should hear them when Dave Murphy's bringing things up. And it's the first time I ever noticed this, that they get to pick and choose. Like he said something, they're like, no, you're talking about general relativity, not special relativity. And he's like, what are you talking? You get to pick which one is used when?
Call it whatever you want.
Because one works in one instance, but it can't work in the other, so they just switch it and say, it's the same thing with the angles to the sun. They'll tell you, sun rises at 90 degrees, and it's okay. So now we're looking at the angles of the sun. So now we take two people. Let's do a triangulation of the sun's distance. Oh, guess what? We can't do that. So they'll allow the angles used when they matches their model, but then they just tell you can't. What are you doing? You can't triangulate the sun like that. So everything has been concocted and handed to you in a pretty little package in a little textbook, and made very easy for you. And it's very easy for someone to just say, I don't want to look into it. Scientists have done all this work. They know the distance of the sun. How could they be wrong? They know exactly how the sun works. It's a fusion fireball that is burning hydrogen, whatever they believe. And you can believe that. So what you have to realize is you have to make so many concessions. You have to concede with the fact that even though you've never seen the planet as a whole, you have to believe in it. Even though you will never feel the speed or the spin or the flying around the sun or the flying around the universe, even though you'll never see any of it, you'll never get proven the distance of the stars. You'll never see another planet. You'll never go to another planet. Nobody will. No one's ever been to the moon. You have to concede all these things. You have to imagine that space travel is the first and only regressive enterprise in the history of humanity that has gone backwards over the last 50 years. You have to just accept the fact that $52 million a day goes to NASA for zero. They do nothing. Anything that they do would be provided in other sectors. There's nothing special about what NASA does. They've got a craft in orbit for 19 years, and they can't even take a 24-hour video of the Earth or a 24/7 video of the Earth. It's ridiculous. When you look at the images, go to Cassini's website and look at the images of Saturn and remind yourself that it's 2018, an era of 4K video on your damn cell phone. So all they have to do is strap that video camera to the satellite that they send there. But nope, we have to just get this ridiculous data that they then interpret into images.
Yeah.
So everything has to go through processing. You've never seen an image of anything from space that is not processed through a NASA computer before it comes out to the public eye. So it's so easy to manipulate data, make it print out whatever you want, take cloud data, wrap it on a ball, And you just have to concede everything. I mean, you have to look at your childhood and say, why didn't they teach us about the flat earth? If the globe earth were true and the flat earth were false, then you would teach children in school. You'd have a week for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders where pick sides, argue your point. Now go do experiments. Come back on Friday. We're going to show why it's a globe and not a flat earth. They don't do that. They don't want you thinking about the flat earth at all. There's a reason for that.
Nor do they want you thinking about the globe either.
No. And that's why at 6 years old, they told you about how everything worked. And with gravity, even though every one of us, and you can pretend like you don't admit it or not, I just know it, that everybody sat there in class and said, what? What do you mean we're on a ball with the water? It just stays on there? But you didn't have an opportunity to speak up because every teacher was teaching you and they're an authority. And you went home and your older brothers and your older sisters and your parents are an authority, and they would tell you that it's a dumb question to ask about gravity or to not understand where we're at in the universe. It's all by design. You have to concede all that. You have to concede the fact that they told you that water goes down the drain the opposite way in each hemisphere. Why do you have to tell lies to push truth? You don't have to. You have to concede the fact. How embarrassing must it be to be a globe believer to know that they went with Stephen Hawking out to a lake and absolutely fabricated and concocted a bullshit experiment to prove to the world that the Earth's a globe on PBS. Think about that. How I would feel like I would feel so dirty. Like I'm pushing the globe, and in order for them to show it to people, to millions of people, they had to go out to a lake and completely concoct a bullshit experiment. They actually have the helicopter disappear from 6 miles away behind this wall of water, not realizing that with a 3-foot eye height, that the drop the hidden amount is only 10 feet. They had the helicopter go behind the water, and then when you calculate it, well, all you have to do is look at the calculator, and he says, "Well, rise up, and I'll tell you when I see you." As soon as he sees it, he says, "What height are you?" And the guy says, 24 feet. Okay, 24 feet. Well, go to the curvature calculator. 6 miles with a 0-foot observer height is exactly 24 miles. So they actually just went to the calculator, pulled the distance of 6 miles, said it's 24 feet.
Oh, you said 24 miles? The eye height at 0 feet is 24 feet.
Sorry, 24 feet. Did I say 24 miles? Yeah. Sorry, it's 6 miles, it's 24 feet. Yeah. They actually just pulled that from the calculator, input it into a bullshit experiment. And then I also talked about last night the initial test where they line up the laser, shoot it off in the distance. She goes and puts a measuring tape up where the laser light is and says 31 inches. Okay, great. Then they send the people out 500 feet, shoot the laser, and the guy marks it on a little whiteboard and then takes the next measurement further out and says it's 6 feet difference. Time out, though. Where you should have measured the distance that it was on the whiteboard to the water to make sure it was level. Otherwise, the laser could be pointed up. So these things, what a joke that you would have to concede all these things. You just have to just give them away and just say, no, it must be true. I mean, when you look at the history of the universe, the cosmological constant, the Copernican principle, that basically we are in a homogeneic universe where everything is the same. No matter where you go, everybody observes the same thing. This is the design that you have to go by, because otherwise we're the center of the universe. So instead, we're on a donut, we're on a balloon expanding, even though nobody knows where this donut is, nobody knows where the balloon is. It's just, again, concocted by the minds of scientists. They have us in this ever-expanding universe, and we've got people like Richard Feynman. I brought this up yesterday.
Oh, you did? Good.
Very interesting. Let me read you exactly Richard Feynman's quote. I don't want to mess this up. When he was talking about the cosmological principle, here's what he said. He said, "The assumption that we have just mentioned implies a very strong uniformity in the universe. It is a completely arbitrary hypothesis as far as I understand it." Time out right there. Because if you don't know what arbitrary means...
Yeah, what does it mean? What's the definition?
So again, let me read it. We're talking about the cosmological principle, which is everything that is based on that, as far as where we are in the universe, the size of the sun, the distance, the way everything's expanding. Okay. All that is the cosmological principle. The assumption that we have just mentioned implies a very strong uniformity in the universe. It is a completely arbitrary hypothesis, as far as I understand it. Let's go look up arbitrary, because once you realize what that means, then you're going to see that there's a problem. Arbitrary.
So everything that science is built upon is arbitrary?
Not science, but the
cosmological science.
Yeah.
Got you.
It is based on random choice or personal whim rather than any reason or system. That's the definition. And according to dictionary.com, the definition is subject to individual will or judgment without restriction, contingent solely upon one's discretion, decided by a judge or arbiter rather than by law or statute, having unlimited power, uncontrolled, unrestricted by law, and tyrannical. Wow. So what he's basically saying is there is no reason that we've decided that, and we've already heard that from people like Edwin Hubble, who said to get away from the whole absolute horror of a unique position that we have to make something up, because they don't go by observations. And this is the problem that people can't see for some reason. That
sorry.
Go ahead.
They do go by observation, and not in terms of they
do.
take the observations that nobody can deny, like everyone can see for their own eyes, and then they give you an explanation for those observations that match their preconceived idea of the universe, right?
Yep.
So I think back to what you said earlier, you said that you think that the globe has more, or which has more evidence, the globe or the flat earth. I think a little bit better way to say it is which has more explanations. I would say the globe earth has more explanations.
Well, that's what evidence is, I guess. It's not proof. I'm not saying that which one has more proof. I think which one has more evidence.
Got you.
Evidence doesn't prove something. Evidence should lead you towards the truth.
Because the globers, I always hear them say, like, well, how do you explain blah, blah, blah? Well, how do you explain blah, blah, blah? Right. And you're like, well, we all were taught what the explanations are for things that happen in the world.
And then they say, like, well, the explanations make sense, but they don't make sense. If you really think about it, they don't make sense at all. I mean, you have to believe that Australia and Santa Cruz, California are level on a globe.
Yep.
Even though somebody's up saying, nope, they're level. Everything pulls to the center. I mean, you have to picture in your mind that you could line up levels, and I'm talking about 1 foot levels. You could glue them end to end, and if you glue, let's say they're a mile long, and you glued 24,901 of them together, that they would actually wrap around a ball and come back.
And stay straight the whole time.
Stay straight for some reason. It's just ridiculous.
That's a great thought experiment.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. And it comes down to the minds of men. It's it's a particular worldview that scientists have, and that they built assumptions. They built basically they had one assumption at the beginning, which was we don't want to be important. We don't want to be the center. We're going to be modest. We would like to be placed away from the center. We want to be like every other planet. We just want to be one speck in the vast universe, because then we're not responsible for things that we do in this life. And so by building one assumption on another, they developed a complex set of assumptions. Now there's many that masquerade as science. And the paradigm of scientific understanding goes unchallenged, because they've taught people that these people are smarter than you. They know more than you. They've done all the evidence. They've done all the research. But that's just not the case.
Right.
One person did something. They put it in a book, and then they taught everybody off that book. And what do you think? Nobody's going to question astronomy. Nobody's going to question astrophysics when they come out of college and they just spent 4 years reading a book that tells them all the truth.
Right.
But that's all it is. It's just repeating things. Neil deGrasse has never done any tests in space. He's never
scientific method.
Never touched space.
Mm-mm. Oh, that was one thing I wanted to ask you. And maybe the people listening to, not maybe, of course. Maybe ask yourself this question, or ask somebody you know who still believes in the globe, or still believes they're spinning upside down, or whatever, this question. Name one thing in the current scientific spectrum, the scientific realm, the scientific accepted belief system, or the current going whatever scientific things.
Okay.
Name one thing or event or whatever that uses the scientific method through and through, either daily or weekly. Name one thing where they actually use the scientific method from beginning, from hypothesis all the way through to the end.
Well, I think that they do on anything that is applicable to reality. I mean, meaning computer science. They use the scientific method because they're basically testing. They make a hypothesis. I wonder if I change this chipset, Okay, but where you draw the line is where they can get away with lying to you.
Okay, I guess then maybe I would say that in the
cosmology,
in the theoretical physics, in those things that you can't touch. Name one thing that they're using the scientific method with, and
they
I don't think they can.
James Gunn of Princeton University, the founder of the Sloan Survey, said, "Cosmology may look like a science, but it isn't a science. A basic tenet of science is that you can do repeatable experiments, and you can't do that in cosmology." Michael Turner says the goal of physics is to understand the basic dynamics of the universe. Cosmology is a little different. The goal is to reconstruct the history of the universe. Cosmology is more akin to evolutionary biology or geology, he says, in which researchers must simply accept some facts as givens.
Yep.
There's no way to test it.
Wow.
There's just so many people that are coming forward and at least admitting these things. Here we got Dr. Richard Liu, University of Alabama, Huntsville, said cosmology is not even astrophysics. All the principal assumptions in the field are unverified or actually unverifiable in the laboratory. Cosmologists have become comfortable with inventing unknowns to explain the unknown. And
I just have to say two things. That guy is, first of all, is totally wrong, and he's an absolute liar.
That was Aaron Raw, if you didn't recognize that. So neither one are they're just belief systems.
Yeah.
You have to have assumed that everything that you've been taught is correct, and really you can see where it all fell apart, and it's basically with gravity, because gravity does not explain the happenings in the outer universe, and so they basically invented an entire new matter that's never been, you can't see it, but they know it must be there. Well, no, they don't know it must be there. It must be there if gravity is true.
Right.
But they cannot ever release gravity, because then how in the hell is the Earth a ball?
Yeah.
So the entire cosmology is wrong. Astrophysics is wrong. It is nonsense. Now you can build on it, and you can say, well, it all works. So yeah, mathematically it works, just like my fake theme park, right?
Your fake theme park. I could also build a sister park, the Missa Park, and build a whole theory based on the way a mathematical construct, on the way yours works almost exactly the same. It's just adjacent to where yours is.
Yep.
It uses the same sunlight, the same.
It's like the people who say, well, how does stellarium work? Well, it's the same thing as if I built an online program of my fake theme park.
Yep.
It's like Sims. Here's my theme park. It all works mathematically. Every day you can see which people are on which ride at which trajectory, but it's fake. It's completely fake. And the only way you would know that is when I tell you about my theme park and you say, I want to go there. And if I said, sorry, only NASA goes to my theme park, and only they will tell you what they see, and only they will take pictures. And yeah, when you ask them if they can see stars from there, well, half of them are going to say yes, and the other half are going to say no. And you just got to deal with that. And it's very expensive to do what we're doing, and it makes no sense what we do.
Yeah.
Why would you ever go on spacewalks at the price of a astronaut's suit and the price of and then you've got to have this huge pool, and you got to have scuba divers trained. You have to have a mock-up ISS in the pool. You've got to have, the whole dog and pony show is a joke. To go out and screw in a light bulb. That's what these people do. Watch a spacewalk. They do nothing. There's no reason any engineer would ever create the ISS the way that they did. You would not put things on the outside of the vehicle and say, we got to go. No, they do that because they're selling you space. Just like they sell you history. Anything that you can't verify, they're going to sell you. And the world has fallen in love with it. The world loves space. You talk about going to Mars, and people will say, yeah, I want to go to Mars. You're going to go to Mars where there's no water, there's no food. Yeah. You can't live outside. You have to wear a suit all the time.
You die. You step outside one time, you die.
How are you going to have sex? What are you going to, it's ridiculous.
Do you think we had... I know we talk about this a lot in terms of when we were children, in school. Do you think we had a chance?
None.
Okay, I don't think so either. But then, do you how do you ever think about, like, if you had the conscious mind when you were younger, would we have been able to just walk out?
Absolutely
like if
not.
I was in 5th grade, I'd be like, this shit. This is bullshit. You wouldn't, because so you really don't have a chance. There's no chance for anybody unless your parents are awake and tell you what's going on.
That's why I think it's such a big deal what we're doing.
Okay.
So, somebody like Drone Free Zone or what, he can say whatever he wants, or you're going to eat your hat. And yeah, I may die in this, and it never has come out yet. But this will continue because now there's communication between people, and people see the fraud. And the people who don't, I can't understand those people because there is no evidence of space travel. There is no proof. There is no proof of planets and their sizes. There is no proof of the distances to stars.
And yet they're telling our children that all this is
fact,
absolutely true.
They tell our children that they know the age of the universe. They know the age of the Earth, and they know how it came into being. They don't know. It's a guess.
Yeah, it's a guess.
Just like evolution is a guess. Just like I said last night, there's a difference between animals and humans, and if you can't see that, I don't know if you think monkeys will be putting on jackets because it's December in a few 100,000 years, you're wrong.
And if you think that monkeys will start crocheting their own sweaters,
absolutely not. It's
in
just
a few million
different.
years.
It's different.
Yeah.
And animals, you can teach them to take a needle and do this, and they may look like they're crocheting. And you can teach a monkey that when a bell goes off to grab his jacket and go outside. Sure, you can do all that, but you cannot have a monkey that will develop a calendar system that will keep track of the sun setting and rising
on their own.
Call that days, then make it a year, and then know that in December that they need to wear a jacket when they leave the house because it's going to be cold. That is not.
That's animal.
That's human. And so if you can't recognize that, and I just struggle. I look at it and I say, these people who are atheists, like Jeran RAW, I can't believe that gamble. Is you're taking the words and the studies of men that you think prove without a shadow of a doubt that we're going to test the amount of argon in this certain rock, and how do we know that the universe is always the same? In fact, on that Dave Murphy thing, he mentions that certain fish were dated and they come back 100,000 years old, and then the guy says, no, you're not allowed to date things from the ocean because those come back with the wrong dates. It's like,
okay.
Well, what?
Hold on, those are just anomalies?
He says you only can use the dating on the methods that it works for. Yeah, but you've decided what fits, what matches.
Why isn't it universal?
Right. And these are the things. You can't just pick and choose and create a world that people have to say, oh, I have to agree with that. So anyway, when you're Jeran RAW and you've made the gamble to say that what if there is an afterlife? What if there is another plane of existence? He's already taken the gamble to say there's no chance. I'm not betting any. I'm done. I'm gonna be out here preaching against that possibility. He's done telling people that there is no God. That has got to be, if you're a betting man, the dumbest move ever made by anybody. There's no benefit to that. There is no benefit. Why not live your life as a good person? And I'm not saying you have to go along with Christianity, that you have to go along with Islam. I don't. But you can you can recognize that this is not accidental stardust that blew up or exploded or expanded from a dark, dense point where there was no space and time, there was no vacuum, there was nothing, yet all the matter, where did it come from? Look at the Earth. Have you ever flown across the United States? Think of the amount of ground beneath your feet. That came from an explosion in space 14 billion years ago?
No.
How would you ever allow somebody to tell you that without concrete evidence? And I don't mean, we can look back and see. I mean, these guys tell you that when they look through a telescope that they're seeing back in time, that the planets are 14, I'm looking at this planet, that's 14 million years ago.
I used to think that was cool.
Shut the F up.
I used to think that was cool. When my brother lived with us, and he was a very college-going type of lad, he told me that, and I remember us hearing it on a space documentary, a couple years earlier. And I was like, yeah, that is really cool, because based on their theory, it makes sense. The whole idea, the idea of if you're looking out into space and you see a star, but it's not there or whatever, the whole idea, it made sense to me at the time in terms of, wow, that's so cool. Yeah, it's kind of like you're looking back in time. Yes. But now that I think about it now, it's like it's based off of a faulty basis or whatever. It's based off of a faulty theory.
Foundation, yeah.
Hey, but I used to think it was cool. I did.
I think we all did.
I used to accept it as real.
I think we all did. We'll be right back. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Planet Smashing.
And ask us anything if you don't know.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old.
I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Alberto pounds the South, Memorial Day 2018. I'm Ann Cates. The first named storm of the hurricane season is heading inland after making landfall on the Florida Panhandle. Correspondent Chris Kellogg reports Alberto will batter the region.
The wind is blowing and the rain is falling just like we expected with Alberto. Now come the floods. Flood warning in effect for Miramar Beach and Defuniak Springs in Walton County and the Florida Panhandle. Heavy rain falling along Interstate 10, making traveling on this Memorial Day very treacherous.
The storm is forecast to move over the Tennessee Valley tomorrow. President Trump has observed Memorial Day at Arlington National Cemetery.
There was a Sunday tweet from the president marking another Memorial Day tradition. Quote, fantastic to have 400,000 great men and women of Rolling Thunder in D.C. showing their patriotism. And to the crowd on Memorial Day, Mr. Trump brought up one of the Rolling Thunder goals of accounting.
We also remember the more than 82,000 American servicemen and women who remain missing from wars and conflicts fought over the past century. We will never stop searching for them.
He also acknowledged World War II veteran former Senator Bob Dole and 106-year-old Ray Chavez, a survivor of the attack on Pearl Harbor. Bob Costantini, Washington.
Lava from the Kilauea volcano on Hawaii's Big Island continues to threaten a power plant as officials take precautions. Correspondent Jim Roop.
We believe that we have mitigated any risk to the community.
In other words, Hawaii Governor David Ige says he's confident the quenching, plugging, and capping of the wells will keep them from exploding, and there's no sign of any release of dangerous hydrogen sulfide gas, which is the greatest fear. Meanwhile, a 24th fissure has opened up, signaling no end in sight in Kilauea's current eruption.
S&P futures gaining 3 points, the NASDAQ futures up 22. I'm Ann Cates.
You must unite what has been set asunder.
We are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
On the weekday, don't be surprised, don't be surprised. Walk like us. They even talk like us. Walk like us. But they are not like us. On the weekday, you can see the signs, you can see the signs. They wear the disguise. Look into the mind's eye. There's nowhere to hide. No stick-covered lines. Whispers from afar.
Welcome back, I just want to beat you to it. That's all.
Welcome back. I thought you were going to sing a song for us.
Oh no, I said welcome back. Oh my gosh, welcome back.
That was really bad. But you know.
Just another manic Monday. I wish it was thunder. Oh.
If you're going to sing into the mic.
I'm filling up your drink over here.
Oh, how nice of you. Thank you. Not an alcoholic drink, don't worry. Don't get excited.
Oh no, we would both be sleeping right now.
We'd both be out like a light. So, let's check the phones and see if anybody cares to call us. Hey, we do have a call.
Gosh.
I feel so good. Wow.
Please ask us a question.
This is awesome. We have a call. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who is this and where are you from?
Hello.
Howdy.
Hi there.
Okay. Guys.
Good. How are you?
Oh.
Can't hear you very well. You're choppy.
Choppy. Shit.
That's actually not that bad.
Driving me.
Now we can hear you.
Better. Guys in Kentucky, I've talked to y'all before. It's been a while back, but first off, I just want to say I respect what y'all do, and I know you guys are doing it for the right reasons. I appreciate all the bullshit you put up with me.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate that.
That's very much appreciated. Thank you.
My question, I'm just curious about, I've heard your story many times about Mr. walking in and asking you, do you think the earth could be flat? I'm just curious, asking Mr. where did you hear it to ask him that?
Great question.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't hear it from anybody. I was looking out the window, and we had been talking about the map. You were upset about the map that we're taught in school, how it's distorted, and we were looking and researching into the map.
And it was right at the same time that we had said we'd cut everything out and said we're starting from the very bottom, and it was just like a fresh start. And yeah, it just I don't think you didn't hear from anybody. But you had asked me before about the Earth being flat.
Before that moment at the house?
You said something, and that's oh no, I guess that was when I said how do planes go around. Because I thought it was like a little bit before that. No, you're right. That was the same time.
Maybe. I just know that I didn't hear it from anybody.
No, I can still remember where I was sitting, and you walked by and looked out the window. And at the Vincent house, we had a view, pretty far view down the street, and we were at the end of like a, what would you call that? A T?
Cul-de-sac-ish?
It wasn't really cul-de-sac. It was like a T street, and we were at the end and had a view of, quite a distance. And she just happened to ask that, so that was pretty crazy.
I know it's pretty lackluster of a story, but that's the truth.
But it's not like when you said it, then we said, "Oh, the Earth's flat." It was you said it.
No, I said it as a thought that I just had.
Yeah. Do you think the Earth could be flat?
Yeah, and I had no proofs. I had no nothing. I didn't even know what the hell I was really even talking about, except the fact that I was looking out the window and seeing the sun. I remember, and then just saying, "I wonder if do you think the Earth could be flat?"
Yeah, and I remember hearing it and thinking, like, getting pissed because I felt like she was
made me cry.
No, I was kidding. I probably did because I remember you were upset and you were like kind of mad, like, well, I was just asked because I felt like she didn't understand what I meant when we said we were going to start all over.
Obviously,
like,
I understood a little more than you did.
Yeah, obviously. Thank goodness.
No, maybe not.
Well, I thought that that we understood where we were going to erase everything, start over. But then when you asked that, I'm like, what are you talking about? We're not starting from, are we human beings? Is this my left hand? Is this my forefingers? And so I was upset. Like, no, how do planes go around? And
and that was the extent though of your globitis. I do believe because people could go with what you said and then still push the. No, you're stupid. You're an idiot. You're a moron. After looking into it, even whatever.
Well, and as angry as I got. Again, I've thought about it before. I've thought about it throughout my life. Not throughout my life, but I mean 4 or 5 times where I looked at the world and just said, like, could the Earth be flat? And then you're like, nah. And you just go back to reality. And so to hear you say that, the immediate thing was the fact that we've both flown on airplanes in opposite directions. Yeah. So the Earth must be round, must be a ball. And so I just said, no, that's ridiculous. How do planes go around a flat Earth? How do planes go around this? They can't.
And then my tail went between my legs, and I was hunked down in the corner. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that we were stopping your
like, okay, I didn't realize. Yeah, I guess so. I guess not. And so I just kind of went about my research, which was on the map. But then I started looking into NASA and the moon landings.
Right. It was all downhill or uphill from there.
And I remember taking like 2 or 3 days of like not telling you that I had thought that there might be a chance, because I said I'm not going to tell her, oh, by the way, there was a chance that the Earth is flat, and then say, but it's not.
No,
it doesn't make any sense to do
that. The next time you talked about it, you came with a good little couple notches on your belt, like with like, look what I found. Like, not so much as like, oh, look what I'm looking into too.
No,
like, you definitely showed me some.
And that's why I owe Eric Dubay a lot and Matthew Powerland, because that's when I found both them.
I remember the next thing we were watching was one of the clues, the Mark Sargent clues about the planes. That's what I remember watching.
That was months later.
Right, but that was the first flat Earth video I remember watching. I don't know about you, but that was me.
Absolutely. You told me to make videos, and I said no, and then I just remember checking YouTube like every week, like, looking it up just to see if I could see any new videos.
4 people, maybe 3.
There was like you couldn't find a video on it.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty incredible.
So that's our little that's my little story of not very much climactic.
Do you remember when I had my coming to moment, or like my eye-opening moment, where I kind of realized that I thought the globe was a disaster? Because I think we were very questioning, but I had remember I woke up?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was crazy. You woke up saying like, I just dreamt that I jumped off the Earth and I started orbiting it or something. You're like, and it was ridiculous or something like that.
Yeah,
some
it
dream
was
like
like
that.
jumping from one place to another or something,
Yeah.
but it was hilarious. I just remember waking up and thinking the whole dream was kind of about the heliocentric system and just how it must all work with the Earth being in space. And that's why I still want to get people's attention to the fact of, think of the Earth when you go look at a picture of the Earth that they show you from the moon or whatever. It's just a huge, heavy ball of mass of dirt and rock and liquid iron and water and magma, and it's floating in space.
But it's not heavy up there in space, baby. It's really
Whether
light.
it's really light or whether it's floating or whether it's perpetually falling or whether it's regardless, it's flying through,
ball that's floating in space,
orbiting. It's going around its axis. It's orbiting the sun. It's complete and total nonsense.
It's not something you see every day, that's for sure. Because if you're like, let's say you're walking down the street and then all of a sudden you see like a sphere kind of like hovering above the sidewalk,
No.
you would take a double take. You're like, that's not normal.
No.
Not like, oh yeah, I see that up in the sky all the time.
But as
Just walk by it.
as we mentioned to Josh, there is one thing
What?
about our observations that bugs the shit out of Miss and I.
What is that? Wait, let me see if I can guess.
What do we see that bugs the shit out of us? That we talked to Josh about it at Palmdale.
Was I with you into the conversation, or was it?
Yeah,
the
we
night
were
before?
walking to the car the night before dinner.
Okay, the moon.
No.
Okay, the stars.
No.
All right. No, I don't remember.
Can't believe you don't remember.
I'm sorry.
What? Jupiter's moons absolutely
Oh, I agree
drive
with
us
you.
crazy.
But it doesn't. But really, if you think about it, it doesn't mean
Doesn't
that
mean
the Earth's
anything.
a ball.
No.
But it is weird that they move around.
We see them
Jupiter.
every night.
Yeah,
We
they
watch
move
them
around
every
Jupiter.
night.
Yeah.
And they bug the crap out of me
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
because I don't understand it. I still have not seen a decent view of Saturn. Not enough.
It definitely looks not like the other stars.
Well, we saw the ring. I mean, we saw
or
that.
whatever you want to call it. We saw
Sure.
the distortion of the edges.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of a hula hoop.
It's got a little bit of a lard butt
Yep.
going. Yeah.
Lard butt.
Yeah, definitely. But the Jupiter moons, I also don't believe there's any chance that Galileo saw them in 16 whatever.
I mean, he couldn't have had that great of a telescope.
They said he had like an 8 times telescope, and the P900 is like 85 times, and that's today's equipment, and you can barely see them if you get all the way with your zoom.
So, yeah, that's true.
Now, granted, there was less light pollution. I guess we have to look at that. There wouldn't have been, but I just can't picture them seeing them.
Galileo's questionable in and of itself. The whole
then that's another thing with all the
story.
lies. I mean, talk about they've already come out. I mean, people believe he dropped 2 things from the building, and they both fell. Then people say no, he didn't really do that, and he actually slid him down a embankment. I mean, it's just
like whatever. How about we just not talk about something nobody was around
It's
to
like
see?
Newton and the apple falling. Well, it didn't really happen that way. I mean, what are we doing? What is with the story?
Why are we making excuses for stories that we can't even confirm for ourselves? I mean, if that's what bothers me is when I hear people making excuses for people they've never met.
Right.
And yet they're giving these individuals authority over them, and they
That's my
making
problem.
excuses for the fake shit that they do.
This is how life should be. This is okay. You can believe in a globe. That's fine. I'll believe in the flat Earth. And then when I say that Stephen Hawking went and completely botched an experiment and made a mockery of it, globe earthers need to be able to say, you're absolutely right. Period. Why is it that they have to now make excuses on behalf of a scientific genius who has gone out and made a mockery of a experiment? What are you doing?
Well, it's not them. That's how deep the hypnotism goes, though.
Right, but why can't they just call a spade a spade? I mean, like if somebody says to me, well, Jeran, the flat Earth map, why, it doesn't work because of the continents, I can come right out and say, you're absolutely right.
Right.
There's a lot to figure out. I don't know how it works. The miles are different. We don't know what miles are. People think that they can map miles of ocean. You don't know how far that is. The miles of the ocean are based off of what the continents they thought they would be.
Yeah.
So I can admit
any opposition that comes to them is immediately jumped to the conclusion of got to either make excuse or turn away, and that person's wrong.
And you're an idiot.
Right. That's the initial reaction, whatever one they choose.
There's nothing I could ever say to Red's rhetoric that it would make him say, good point. Absolutely not.
Unless it's about Jesus.
Maybe, but I don't even think that. They've already taken the position of you're an idiot.
And you're opposing
science,
my belief.
You're opposing science, and therefore anything you say has no backing. You're a liar. You're doing this for money. Everything. It's just...
Everything. You're right. And that's something we can't really, excuse me. It is partially the most difficult, if not impossible, thing to break through.
Oh, yeah.
It would have to be only done on that person's own individual personal time.
So we would never see it on a YouTube kind of stage.
Nope.
No YouTuber is going to ever come out and say, I was wrong. I was a globe earther. I was yelling and screaming at you guys, and now I've come to... Because there's enough evidence out there, like I said, that's been handed to you on a silver platter that allows you to keep your bravado, to keep you thinking you're right, and allows you to keep going with the globe belief. There's just... You have to be such a humble person.
You know what I've seen, though? I have seen plenty of flat earthers or people who don't believe in the globe go on record, go on YouTube, go on Facebook, whatever, and say... Hey, so-and-so, I have to admit I was wrong about X, Y, Z. You were right. Sorry. Let's move on. Now, the only people I've seen are flat earthers.
Yep. I said
not
Wolfie.
A single glober have I. Oh, what? No, except there is one glober.
Who?
Wolfie. Now that you just said his name.
Oh.
But he hasn't said it publicly, though.
No,
that's
different. That's different. And that's just more of a sorry we're being so rude to you. But speaking of that, I want to hear something crazy in the news. I guess you would call it like... no, you have to find a real sound. Oh, you've ruined it.
In case y'all are wondering, it's really hot right now, and maybe that's what's getting to me, because it's very hot, and it's almost like the cabin fever.
I thought I had a news beat. I don't even have it. What about this one?
All right. I like mine better.
Let's try again. I don't know. Those aren't really news.
That's like a deep hi-hat.
Oh, this is a good news intro.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Okay, all right.
And now, news brought to you by...
The Egyptians.
Exactly.
Not the question. No, brought to you by us.
Okay, so in the news of the world, believe it or not, there is a character, a man by the name of Joseph Climera.
Oh, yeah.
Who 3 years ago started pretending that he was a girl or something, and then, because I called him out for it, made a video saying, Jeranism just blackmailed me. He actually did it. He blackmailed me for $20,000. Some nonsense on YouTube.
It was hilarious.
So
because Skype was even down, and that was one of his excuses.
Yeah, he said I called him on Skype, and Skype was down that day. Anyway, this guy disappeared. After I called him out, made a video saying Joseph Climera is a liar and this and this, he disappeared. That was until 2 days ago when a video emerged called An Apology to Jeranism from Joseph Climera. It was a 2.5-minute video in which he apologized for lying about me trying to steal money from him, and said he's back to make more videos, and would I accept his apology? So I said, sure, why not?
Your sweet gentility sticks to people, babe, and they have to eventually personally come to conclusions
even
with
if it
themselves.
takes 3 years to do so.
Yeah.
Which, hey, you know what? It's better than if he never did apologize. I would always say, I know what a dirtball that guy was. You know?
Roads? Well, we don't need roads.
Yeah.
I don't really know how that ties in.
You don't need rows.
No, you don't need rows of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Just
but
you don't need it.
That's really, I mean, wait, now Joseph Climera, he was or was not a flat earther? I don't remember.
He was. And he made great videos about flat earth.
Okay, so then good. He was a flat earther.
He actually did very good observational videos. Not observational. Well, I guess he would take like an orange and show people how things...
Exemplifatory videos.
A nice word.
Thank you. That's not a word, but it is now.
It is now.
Yep.
That's all that matters.
Exemplifatory.
So.
How bizarre.
Awesome.
Do you know where that word bizarre came from?
No, but we have a caller.
Okay.
Can I go
Rude.
No, go ahead. Tell us where bizarre came from.
No, go ahead. Answer the phone.
It's a business in AARE. No, I don't know.
Nope.
You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this, and where are you from?
Hey, this is Alan.
Alan, how's it going?
Good. I'm from West Virginia.
All right, Alan in West Virginia. Hopefully this isn't Alan Beam, or else you are deceased.
Oh. It says Alan Bean on there?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Hey, I've watched a video on YouTube over and over, and they keep showing it like it's a live stream of ISS space station.
Right.
I think maybe you made a video about it a couple years ago about all the clouds and stuff where, I mean, now they still show it every day, and it's the exact same video over and over.
Yeah, I hate that. I know which one you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
But if you look and like halfway through the video, there's actually a component on a supposed ISS, and if you really just watch that, you can actually see reflections of people on that glass screen.
Oh, yeah. Missa found that a long time ago. Remember that, Missa?
I do remember.
Yeah, it's like you can see somebody with a shirt, and there you can almost see like a hallway light.
Yeah, we were looking at that for a while, too.
Yeah, it's
Make
pretty
you go
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're still cutting that off as of like, you know, a few weeks ago, and I think it's still on there every day. Like it's still the ISS, and they're making it. And
I mean, that should,
and you can go
should
in there
not,
and watch, and still.
That should not be allowed. I mean, it makes me sick to know that. Why do you let people do a live video that's them of a recording that's not live? So I mean, when I do a live video, I'm sitting at my computer or my microphone doing a live video. It's live. I don't record things and then upload them for live.
No.
I mean, let alone play a loop over and over again and then call it live. I mean, I don't put a 10-minute video camera of my front yard and just put it on YouTube and loop it over and over again and say, this is a live view of my front yard. No, it's not. It's a 10-minute clip that you're playing over and over again.
That would be called deceptive.
Would be called deceptive. Now, you know what's interesting? If you go to that person's account and you click their names, you go to their channel and you go to About and you scroll down, it says affiliated with NASA. I don't even know how you get an affiliated with tag on YouTube. I don't even know how you would apply for that. But somehow they're affiliated with NASA. Yeah. I think isn't the account Space Videos?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll go there now to make sure.
That's a good observation.
Yeah, you're right.
Keep your eyes out for those deceptive ways.
The hard thing that I've gotten to the point of, and it's hard for me to get away from, is I really want. I mean, there's so many subjective things, and that's what I know that by bringing them up, but it'll never get us anywhere. When we say we can see reflections in that mirror, we think we see a scuba diver. I mean, I was really big on them before, but I realize now that it'll never be a proof. You'll never have on the news, a scuba diver was seen in a NASA video, because it's subjective. Because a person can just say, that's not a scuba diver, that's a reflection, that's post, that's a pole, that's whatever. So I'm looking for things that you can say or you can do or test where there is no argument, where it's not subjective, where somebody has no choice. But it's good to
train your eye to keep an eye out for deceptive practices, or whatever. Because then if anything, then you know that you won't be deceived. If you can't undeceive other people, just know that you're doing it for your own undeceptive.
It's just the hardest thing to find. That's what I've struggled with. That's what keeps me up at night is finding that thing that you could be on the news.
Right.
That could be.
The news can't deny taking your request for being on or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Or exactly. Like if we do one of these tests and it shows it's not subjective. The one that we want to do here going across from Pacific Grove to Santa Cruz at 25 miles. It's not going to be really something that's subjective. I mean, it just can't be.
That's what we're hoping for. Whatever it comes out to,
we'll see.
We really think it will be possibly very definitive.
Do you have any other questions or comments?
Well, it's and I've just got onto this recently, and I've only talked to a couple people. It's kind of one of those subjects, of paranormal and everything. He's like, hey, what do you think of the flat Earth? So you got to be careful how you bring it up.
Absolutely.
But then I was talking to somebody, and I was like, but I said there's so much proof or evidence, I guess, that you could say. And, then they said, well, I just want, to leave my head stuck in the sand and just go about I'm like, well, it doesn't change what I do day to day. I just want to know the truth.
Right.
But I think that's still where some people are, is that they don't want to have to reevaluate everything that they've been taught or been learned for, 20, 30 years of lies.
As much as I hate to say it, I like to be honest as I can be. If somebody would have walked into my store when I was a drugstore manager, 6-7 years ago and said, hey, Jeran, the earth is flat. You need to look into it. I would have told them, what are you talking about? It doesn't matter. Why would you even care? And they would say, oh, no, don't you think we're being lied to and it's actually flat, not a globe? And I'd say, what difference does it make to my life? That is my honest, I'm being honest there. That's what I would have said, because I had a job. I had, I had duties. I was so stuck in the corporate asleep world of go to work.
The rut.
Yeah, get off in time to barely get home and make dinner, fall asleep on the couch, and be back up at 5 a.m. the next day. That there would be nothing, but that's, now I can see why.
It's part of the system, the structure.
They don't want you to even think about you could be being lied to. And it's so monumental to me now to see that. And it's sad for me to admit that I understand why some people are like that, because they are stuck in that position that it honestly, in the world that they're living in now, doesn't affect their life. And that's because they've built up the system so that it doesn't.
Yeah, because the second people take the time to look into it, it's so blatantly obvious that they're being lied to by the government and every corporate, every situation, everything around you is just bullshit. It's so obvious and I think provable that that's why they can't have you even stepping outside to look at the situation for even a week.
And the people don't question anything. I mean, they don't question the medical industry, where you're like, dude, why would any corporation or business who makes money off of selling pills want you to get better? It just, it doesn't even make sense to a rational thinker, but they won't, because they know once you go down conspiracy road, there's all kinds of places to camp out and get lost, and they don't want to go there. So they just stay on straight and narrow. And but the truth, I know, to the caller, you probably feel the same as me. The truth is more important to me than anything. I don't want to die believing that I knew the truth and end up it being lies. I would rather die not knowing anything, but at least have gotten to that point on my own. Yeah. That if I can't figure out the way the world works on my own and I can't test things and come to a conclusion myself, then so be it.
But I'm not just going to accept
I'm not going to accept somebody telling me where I live, what's going on in my life, how old the earth is, what I should believe, whether there's a God or not, whether or not. That's for me to decide. And if you have evidence that you want to give me, just like I have evidence I want to show people, then fantastic. Show me your evidence, and I will decide if I want to adopt that into my belief system. Right. And when I went looking for the evidence, I found that there clearly is not any that is proof of where I live. I mean, you cannot just tell me, the stars are 25 trillion miles away. I can't see 25 trillion miles.
It is a tough subject to bring up, especially when you first start looking into it and you first start realizing, like, oh my gosh, there's clear deception. Oh my gosh, there's so many things that are so wrong, and you want to so badly just tell everybody about it. And then the first few people that you do is like the most awkward, weird, like anti-situation. It's just like weird and uncomfortable.
But then you find that one person that is on the same path as you, and you're like, yes, you know about the Federal Reserve? You know about, it's like really awesome to find that person that...
It's like you're reading a book and you're on chapter 15 and all this stuff's happened, and you meet someone who's only on chapter 2, and you're like, oh, you don't really understand what I'm talking about.
Hurry up,
I need to go find someone who's reading chapter 15.
So.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you all for your time, and keep up the great work.
Hey, appreciate that.
Listening. Thanks.
Thank you for listening. Appreciate it a lot. And to everyone else who also listens, we do thank you so much.
Yes.
We don't say it often enough.
We do not. Thank you. Oh.
We just had a sound in our headphones go.
Maybe we should.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's why.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Sound Cutoffs.
The ayahuasca vine is the non-psychoactive component of the South American healing ceremony, ayahuasca. It is known for its anti-parasitic properties, both physically and spiritually, and is considered the spirit of Aya. The hemp plant has been considered a miracle healer by natives around the world for the powerful non-psychoactive component, cannabidiol, also known as CBDs. These miracle plants have been reported to aid relief with everything from inflammation, chronic pain, tremors, anxiety, heart palpitations, depression, and much more. For the first time, we have created the perfect synergy of the hemp and ayahuasca plants to bring you a perfect balance of mind, body, and soul. We call this Aya Life, and you can find it at ayalife.com. That's AYA life.com.
Wouldn't you love to have a really sharp memory? More than ever before, people of all ages are struggling with memory problems and brain fog. Whether your poor memory is age-related or due to the effects of chronic stress, you can now improve your memory while reducing stress with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. That's right, you get 2 products rolled into one. Some ingredients in Calm and Clever enhance memory and help retain newly learned information more effectively, while other ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce stress by maintaining healthy levels of the stress hormone cortisol. Calm and Clever was created by scientist Kurt Hendricks, a principal investigator in 2 NIH-funded studies on Alzheimer's disease. To sharpen your mind and feel calm and centered, try Calm and Clever for 2 months. You'll love the way you feel and think. To order Calm and Clever, call 1-800-728-9948 or visit calmandclever.com, 1-800-728-9948 or calmandclever.com.
Is that who I think it is?
Yep, sure is. Did you hear he ditched the man cave and brought back the study?
That's so sexy. I love it when a man is educated and informed.
He is so dreamy, always reading books and investigating history.
Where do you think he works out?
The library.
He is so controversial, always talking about 9/11 being an inside job, the police state, constitutional rights, ancient history, government cover-ups, and how he thinks sports don't matter in real life.
Oh, I love a freethinker who searches for truth. I tune into his show, The American Intelligence Report, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on Truth Frequency Radio. I love it when he feeds my brain. What's his name? Kristan T. Harris.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Welcome back. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. I was just thinking, get this.
No, don't do that.
It's very strange.
Okay.
Our dog and us together as a 3-team party.
The 3 of us or something?
3 men and
I
a
thought
little
there was
baby.
a song with those words in it, and then I had to stop because there was not. So.
Three's company too.
Just the 3 of us.
Yes.
Something. Wrong tune. But
Every night we go for a walk. And we've done so since we moved here, really. And
Yes.
it's very, very exciting for us 3. It's keeping us healthy and keeping us doing something together.
Mhm.
And we do it, and we've always enjoyed it. And there's little bunnies along the way that the dog chases. Everything's great.
Mm-hmm.
So, night before last, Missa was enferma,
Yet again.
not feeling very well. So she was in bed, and I said, okay, I'll take the dog for the WALK. I can't say that word or else he'll go crazy right now.
So cute.
So I go out, and we get to the end of the block here where we get on the path, and he turned around and started running home. I turned around and said, "Come here. Hey, hello."
Yeah.
And he ran all the way to the house.
Mhm.
So I came home and opened the door and said, "Miss, the dog ran home. He didn't want to go today." So she's like, "What?" I said, "I don't know what's going on." So then last night, Mrs. feeling better. All three of us go. Same exact point. Dog turns around and runs home.
Mhm.
So for some reason, all of a sudden, the dog has given up on WAOKs.
Yeah, we'll see tonight what
We'll
happens.
see tonight. It should be interesting.
It might have been a fluke the first night, and the second night there were like some teenagers probably, smoking a joint out front
Right
or
in
something.
front of our car.
Right in front of our house.
Ridiculous.
And they got all just perturbed because my car lights
we'll
turned
move.
on.
Sorry, we'll move right now.
So sorry to interrupt your session, I guess you could call it, or whatever.
Whatever you're doing.
So that could have been it too, because he kept looking back and like looking at the kids. They were like bouncing a ball, so maybe he was distracted by that. But I don't know. It's really weird.
So we'll see tonight. Also, we have something else going on tonight. Should we mention the ISS?
No, because sure.
It was bad luck, probably, but we have yet to see the shape. So all I ask to the universe is I just want to confirm the shape, and we can't see that. We thought we did, because your brain tells you that you do, and then you come in and you pull up the image, and then you realize it's no different than Jupiter.
Because we had just 5 minutes later filmed Jupiter, and it looked identical in shape, just because it gets blurry, and then it gets in focus, and then it gets blurry. But
watching the ISS pass over us, we were both saying, we can see the shape.
Mhm.
There it is. And then we filmed Jupiter and never said, it's got the same shape. It's just your mind. Because then we come in and play the images, and they're identical.
Yeah.
Now, tonight, we have a special occasion.
Tonight.
Is the night. How's the weather looking, by the way?
Well, it's very hot today. It looks kind of overish, cloudy, casty.
No, don't say that. Where is it? No, it's not that bad.
Okay.
But we have an awesome opportunity. Full moon, ISS passage. There's no reason.
Enfrente de?
Enfrente de.
Wow.
If it went behind, that certainly would be interesting.
Well, now, yes, that would be quite impossible. And also
hey, so I was thinking about
moment of a lifetime.
Playing a possible game while we wait for a call.
Oh, no.
What?
Games.
A game?
I don't know. Games. Whenever you bring up games, they're always something that I lose at.
Okay, here's the game. It's called, I don't know. I can't think of it.
Is this a game we played before?
No.
Oh, man.
This is
Even worse.
Matthew Boylan game. Okay.
What?
It's called Photo or Painting.
Oh, is it called Photo or Painting?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to play right now a segment of one of his recent monologues. Or perhaps it's going to be a collection of different points of a monologue that I have mixed up to make sound crazy. Or it could be him really speaking for a period of time of 2 minutes, and maybe he sounds crazy. I don't know. Your job, do you understand what I'm saying?
Kind of not really. No, not
Okay,
really.
let's do one together.
Okay.
Okay, so this first one, we're going to now listen to what he says, and then we're going to decide, did he really say that in the order that we're listening to it, or did I F with it?
Okay, I think I maybe.
How much of the age you're in right now will last? The cement roads fall apart after 30 years. They turn into sand, man. So if we could just get you to admit that, and if you can't, then basically I go, well, why do you weaponize, like, the metals corroding and oxidizing? All your photos and all your artwork, every image of you is virtual. Just disappears like that. Nothing's on paper. So it's but that's pretty much I wanted to say. By the way, somebody MGTV got a hold of the bootleg copy of Behind the Curve.
Okay, so now your job is to decide, what we just heard, did that really take place in the order that it was played in, or did I mess with it?
Maybe. The order I would say is real, I guess.
No,
it didn't sound like it was cut up.
It was very cut up. I took different segments of different conversations and.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess now you say that with the with what he was talking about, but he kind of talks like that. Okay,
right.
Yeah.
So that's the game. That's the game.
Okay.
So that was the cut up one. So
I got you. Okay, I can do this.
All right, let's see.
I can do this.
See if anybody in the chat is playing. I don't know if anybody's in the chat, but you never know. And I'm also going to check the phones. But if we have no calls, we do have a call. But when we have no calls, we'll play.
It's similar to
Photo or Painting.
It's similar to Matthew Boylan Roulette, but that's a different it's just a very fun.
Oh, that's a game we played before where you
game.
just find a video and click on it, and then whatever he says, it's funny.
Yeah, click throughout whatever part of the video it is, just funny.
Well, sometimes you don't look at the little details. You miss the little details.
You miss the inconsistencies, everybody.
Jeez, get on it. Let's go to the phones. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Yeah, it's Jake from North Carolina.
Jake, what's going on?
I'm the guy who always talks about the eye color and all that, you know. Okay.
Yes, I'm excited. What do you have for us today?
That's me. Anyway, have you ever experienced this? I remember when I was like 6 or 7 years old. I was in the car. I was in the back seat. My mother was driving. And I said, why is the moon following us?
Absolutely.
Yes, very good. I do remember that.
Okay. So have you ever been in someone's house who has all the Jesus pictures and the eyes that follow you?
Yep. Scary ass places.
Crosses everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone has someone like that. They've been in their house. Okay. Would that let us know? I mean, if that's done on a painting and it has something to do with the shape, wouldn't that give us an idea of the shape of the dome, how deep the curve is there, concave or whatever it is, and what the shape of the moon is?
You know, Wouldn't
that give us an idea?
It's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned that because I've never thought about what makes, if you're going to paint a statue, how do you make the eyes follow the person? What is the technique? I don't know it.
It's a layered image. It's a layered image.
What do you mean layered?
Like a hologram.
No, but you can do it with a statue. You can just carve a statue and the eyes follow you.
Painting, yeah.
Layered paintings.
I've seen
We'll
a
look into
stone
it.
carving.
Interesting.
I've seen a stone carving on someone's wall, painted with the eyes that would follow you.
It must be some sort of
Optical illusion.
3D kind of thing. But
Trickery thing.
Have you ever seen the video that shows it's like a cardboard dinosaur, and the camera is going around it in the room?
Yeah, and it's like constructed in a certain way to where it makes it look like, that's what I'm thinking of too.
Or I've also seen when they take a mask, a white mask, and flip it, and you always think the mask is coming at you.
Or away from you. They run.
Right.
You can't tell which one.
Think of this. Think of this. I bought what are the little PlayStation games, the 3DS or whatever. Okay. These things, the screen is just curved, which gives it, some kind of illusion, I guess, to a 3D image.
Okay.
So my point was, this is my point on this. Whatever technique is used can allow us to understand how deep the convexity or curve, which is behind the moon in its track or in its path, how deep that curve is. Then we can measure, well, how far does the curve go? So we can look at the dome or whatever you want to call it.
Are you saying that the moon is attached to this area?
No, he's saying he wants to know if you can figure it out by knowing the mechanism.
Yeah, but I'm asking if he.
I believe. Yeah, I'll answer what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Go ahead.
So I believe that the moon is in the firmament or the dome or the solid, whatever structure it is.
Rakia.
It's in it. On this side.
Okay.
I don't think it's in it from the other side. I think it's in it on this side so we can see it. It's for us. It's not for God. He didn't put it there for him. He doesn't need time. He doesn't need the stars. He put it there for us for seasons, times, and whatever.
Okay.
So, I wanted to move on from that. I mean, I think that would be a great experiment. But
good one. One more question.
I wanted to bring up dogs since you brought up dogs.
Oh.
I'm sure you've seen dogs with a blue eye and a brown eye.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm sure you've heard people call those spirit dogs.
Oh, because they're usually like Siberian Huskies or something like that. Usually, stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's
those kind of spirity dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people will call them spirit dogs. A lot of Native people, Native Americans, call them spirit dogs. But I think that's interesting in itself. I think what's holding us back on our whole moving forward on a flat Earth is, just going over and over water being level. I think we need to come up with different experiments, and I know we have. I'm not saying me personally. I know other people have gyroscopes, everything. I know that. But there are so many other things that we could be discussing and going over. And I look at observation. I've raised all kinds of cattle. I raised goats. And one interesting thing about them is if you have one from a higher altitude or a colder climate, they have blue eyes and little ears. If you have a goat from a hot climate, such as Africa, they have long hound dog ears and they have brown eyes. Okay? So just like people, there's a reason for this. There's a reason, and I think we need to look at it, because when we look up, the sky's blue. We look down, the ground is brown, everything between is green. And everyone who calls in after I hang up and says, well, I have family members that have blue and brown eyes, I've already explained how that happened.
Yeah, I'll reject
I've already explained. I've already explained how that happened.
Yep.
So if anyone has any real questions about it, I would love for them to ask. And when I told you about the clock and looking in your friend's eye about the heart problem,
yeah,
it's 3 o'clock on the left. It's 3 o'clock on the left eye. That's heart and lung. Okay. Now, if you look on the outer edge of someone's eye, you notice some people's eye color goes all the way to the outer edge, and some people will have a thick, dark line like a black line.
That means they're toxic.
Those people, that means they're toxic. Their skin, they need to be cleansed. And if they cleanse themselves, it'll go all the way to the color will go all the way out.
Very cool.
The people with hazel eyes, the people with brown eyes are very hard to look for things wrong with their organs and everything, because the eyes are very dark. People with blue eyes are very easy to see.
I thought he was going to say it was hard to look for because people with brown eyes have such beautiful eyes. That's what I thought.
But then there's also people who have yellow hazel eyes, like our fun caller that called in last week.
And if you
have golden hazel.
If you have a question for that caller, please let us know, as he will surely call back and tell you or have an answer for you. So if you have a question, you can ask that. But it is Ask Jeran and Missonite.
It is Ask Us.
However,
not very many people are asking us questions.
No, and nothing. No questions.
It's typical because we actually you didn't really tell anybody that it was a Ask Us Anything night. It was sort of a theme that came about quite last minutely. But if you did say something like on Facebook, like, "Hey everybody, doobity-doo, it's Ask Us Anything night," you would have a lot of people, I think, call in.
It's funny. I do see somebody in the chat that says, "That's Nintendo." I have it written on my paper here. It says 3DS Nintendo. Because the person said, "I had a PlayStation 3DS." I'm like, no, it's not a 3DS.
I was wondering, I wonder if that's a new thing or.
That's a Nintendo.
All right. Oh, you were talking about something. About. It was actually a little bit ago, maybe a couple breaks ago. But you're talking about how, the medical industry, they're not out to cure you because they want you coming back for more. Now, what is something that we were dealing with that we were like, oh yeah, like
any kind of
like
anything.
Bugs.
Yep, exterminator.
Yeah.
Marriage counselor. There's those jobs are not intended to heal you. Just like if I need a psychologist. Okay, come in on Monday for an hour session. If you think that person is going to sit you down and say, well, it's your parents, you have some attachment issues, and thank you very much, and the person leaves like, oh, I'm cured. No, the person's going to want to have a conversation, want to get you sucked in. You have to come next week. Just like a chiropractor. They don't want to heal you and make you walk out of there and be fine forever. They maybe want to heal you for a little while. They want to repair your allergies for a little while.
Yeah.
But these
it's very
people have,
cult systematic mechanisms.
And it's all over this country. It is kind of the problem with the country. I mean, it's like if you design tanks for war and then the war is over, well, you will do anything you can to start the war again. Otherwise, your business will fail because you make tanks.
Or you got to start making horseshoes.
And the money's not quite the same as tanks and horseshoes.
Not really, unless
it's close. It's close. I think sometimes you can carry
like
the
pro
7.
horseshoes, like horseshoe pro athletes.
Still no, there's not such thing.
What about throwing rocks for a living? Those shock put.
I don't think you can do that for a living.
You can't.
You could probably do it in the Olympics.
Unless you're
and
champion or
maybe
something.
Make no, I still don't think. If you do it in the Olympics and
Yeah.
made a gold medal, you might make $50,000.
And that's just like once every 5 years or something, right?
Is that how often you think the? Okay, good.
4 years.
4 years. I was gonna say, is that how often you think the Olympics are?
I don't know what the shock put if that's every 5 or 4 years.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's hear her say that together now. What is it?
Shock put?
What is it now?
Where you throw rocks. You throw the big metal ball thing.
Okay, so what did you say it's
It's
called?
a shock put.
So why is it a shock put? What would be? What is? Do you know what? Man, we need to write a book with these.
No, we don't.
Oh man, that is too.
What
funny.
are you talking about?
It's not a shock put.
Shop put?
No. Read again.
Shot.
Do you know what shot is?
Yeah, I know what like you take a shot. Okay,
No.
that makes sense.
No, that's not.
No,
right.
not like drinking. I mean, like you shot, like you're throwing, take a shot at something, like a
No.
bullet.
No.
Okay.
There's something that is called shot. What is shot?
Like, oh, I got shot through and through.
Kind of. Like there's shots.
Bullet.
Taking drinks, right?
Okay, a bullet.
Kind of bullets.
Okay, what are you trying to? What? I'm obviously not getting it right.
Well, shot. Well, it's kind of because I don't know. No, I do know. Well, shot is like, and I just know, like little lead balls.
Or taking a shot at it. Yeah, like a bullet.
No, you get shot with a gun because the gun shoots.
Okay.
Okay, but there's shot, which is like.
Do you know what you're talking about?
Probably not.
Okay.
It's like lead
Because you're
shot.
not explaining it very well.
it's round lead. That's how you make shot.
like
That's
BBs.
shot.
Oh.
Okay, so that's shot. Homemade lead shot maker. It's like it's just I don't know, round. I think you make it by like melting it,
lead.
and then it becomes like spherical.
Yeah, because there's little drops and you freeze it at a certain point and then it becomes spherical.
Shot is a collective term for small balls or pellets, often made of lead. These were original projectiles for shotguns. Wow, you were right.
Wow, thanks. And now you're here. I'm over here looking like a moron.
And they're still primarily from. Well, you said shock put. Let's be a little careful now. Let's tread lightly.
Well, now what's the definition of a shot? Very first words.
I just told you.
What does it say? A small ball or pellet.
Yes.
Not a big heavy thing that you have to like have a giant man throw 12 feet.
Well, I think women do shot put.
Sure, whatever.
That was sexist.
All right, here we go. So put me next to a shot put champion, and who's going to win? The man.
The shot
if it's
put
a
is a track
man.
and field event involving throwing in a pushing motion a heavy spherical object. The shot as far as possible.
So basically, I knew what I was talking about. Just my word was wrong. Okay, let's just not give me a hard time about it.
Nobody gave you a hard time.
You just laughed at me. That was kind of hard
That was
time.
pretty funny. It's not as good as a cart table.
That's not a bad one.
It's a bad
I
one.
think a lot of people get that wrong.
I don't think anybody gets it wrong.
Okay.
Anybody ever heard of somebody calling it a cart table? We need to go get the cart table out of the garage. Like, what do we need to get? The cart table.
Maybe it's because my grandma, when we played Bunko, my grandma was the one that I think I first heard it from, and she had dentures. So maybe she just said it wrong, and that's how I heard it.
That's a great reasoning. Is Bunko a card game?
It is. No, it's a good dice game.
Oh, okay. I was going to say card table.
3
cart
tables.
table.
We always had a cart table there. You had to pull out the cart table. That's the 3rd table.
Okay, so
4th
usually when, like now, it should be card table going forward. It shouldn't go back to card table.
Yeah.
It should be changed.
Mhm.
Hey, I still have my own ones too. I forgot mine.
Innocent bystander. I do say it right now. Innocent bystander.
You get it
because he
right now.
corrected me. Look at you re-indoctrinating me with the words.
I know. I'm bringing you
and
back
spells.
to the spells.
You're just
and
spelling me up all kinds.
trying to
getting
get
me
you back into the English language. It's
got you
it's
figured
the
out,
original Paleo Hebrew.
I got you figured out.
No, I was trying to teach you Paleo Hebrew the other day.
Paid husband shill.
Paid husband. I'm doing this for money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep
Marriage
us on
is
track,
money.
or it's gonna get ugly.
Yep. That's my plan.
So
you're on to me now, though. I don't know what I
Shock
should do.
put.
Yes.
Shock put sounds a little cooler.
I don't know why it would be shock put though.
I don't know, but that's how I heard it. That's how I know it. I know it of that. I know it by
You
that.
know
I
it
mean.
of that?
I know it by that. Hey, we have a phone call.
This is our wrestling fan who is calling in twice.
He's gonna say he thought shock put.
No,
Yep.
he is not.
Oh damn!
You're
it.
on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Where are you from?
I'm sorry, Missa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's not shock put.
Yeah.
And
How about cart? Is it cart?
table, but
Is
what
it
was
cart table?
Cart table.
cart? Sorry, no. No.
Okay, no more calling in
But,
unless you agree with me.
I love-
Just kidding. Go ahead.
But no, I love your banter.
Oh,
This
thank
is
you.
This is what we deal with every day.
And
Let me tell you what's funny is that what we talk about here is every night is the same thing. We're just not on the air.
Different colors and tastes.
Yeah, maybe we're a little bit more like making fun of the neighbors and calling them crazy.
Talking about how cute springtails are.
How cute springtails are and how disgusting the neighbors' roach infestation is, and
Yeah. Talking shit about their mattresses in their backyard.
the other night, I just love to tell stories about our life.
Okay, go ahead.
The other night, Miss is out kind of doing some rock assembling in the front yard.
Do some Zen
And
gardening.
All of a sudden, she kind of screams because there is it's a bulldog. Oops, sorry. I thought I heard it.
You could probably put it on mute, maybe.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay.
There's a bulldog next door, and it is a very scary dog that kind of like drools and, looks
Has
like
a very rolling undergrowl.
So for God knows what reason, the fence next door had blown open, the gate, and this dog had come out and was near Missa and was growling at her and very scary. And
like
so,
lunging towards me, like wanted to get me.
Right. So I went and grabbed a metal rake, and kind of prepared to annihilate this dog, which I didn't want to do.
You just wanted to scare him away from me.
Right. But as I went towards him, kind of scaring him away, he was like
Doing little hops for it.
doing the little hops towards me, like he was going to, so I'm like, I don't want to bust this dog in the face.
Yeah.
So the neighbors were like knocking on their garage. So here's the thing. We can't get to the door because it's being protected by a drooling pit bull that wants to kill me.
Collarless little guy.
Very
big guy.
Very big. So we're like knocking on the garage door, trying to get their attention.
I'm honking my horn. Like
Honking
as
the
if they're
horn
gonna
because
hear
this
it.
dog is out terrorizing the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then the neighbor got home across the street and said, "Oh, that dog chased me into the house yesterday or the day before, whatever."
I was like, oh my God.
And we said, "Well, is it a safe dog or what's going on?" He's like, "I don't know. I think it'll attack you."
Oh.
So I'm like, "Great," because I had this rake ready to punch the dog in the face if it came at me.
Right.
So anyway, 10 minutes goes by that we can't figure out till I have to strap 2 brooms together and then go in the backyard and lean over the fence and tap their windows with these
Right.
brooms.
Then
Still
they
come
they
out.
didn't come out. Then I whistled for the dog and thought maybe I could get him to come closer to go into the gate.
From our backyard, she
Yeah.
whistled. He ran into their backyard. I leaned over with the double broom, shut the gate.
Yeah.
We said, okay, finally the gate's shut. Then we go around to talk to the neighbors, and they're like completely oblivious to the whole thing. And we said, is your dog safe? They're like, yeah, it would never hurt a thing. I said, well, bring him out here so I can meet him.
Yeah, let's meet this.
What the hell? I said, I almost knocked your dog in the teeth with this rake.
Lady?
And then the dog
She's
just
like, what do you
came
mean?
out.
This dog here that's in our backyard? I'm like, yes, he was not in your backyard
like
for the past half hour.
The backyard, the door's locked. The gate's locked. But yes, we just did that. We put your dog back in your backyard and shut the gate after it terrorized the neighborhood.
It's like, bring your dog out here so I can rub his
Bring
back.
a dog here so we can pet it. And then we're like petting the dog, and then the dog was all sad when we left because
He was
obviously
following
the
me
owners,
out.
The owners don't obviously pet the dog.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was our story
So,
of
hope you enjoyed
death,
that.
near-death experiences, and near punching dogs in the face with metal rakes.
I would say I was a quarter afraid for my life because I mean, there were moments where I was like, oh shit, this thing's gonna.
I was more than
grab me.
half afraid.
Because I didn't think I knew that I would be able to get away. I think, but there's moments of like maybe I can't. But it was only a quarter afraid of my life, the whole thing.
I was afraid that I was going to be
Having to
have
smash its head in.
smash the head of the neighbor's dog.
And like, hi, nice to meet you.
Hey, your dog? He's in the driveway bleeding to death.
And by the way, we're your new neighbors. So
Yes, and
your dog's dead.
The fence was open. I tried to get to your door, and instead your dog attacked me, and I punched him in the face with
Just
a
want to
rake.
be friends, and look what's happening.
So anyway, that was the story of our near-death experience.
Oh, and caller's still on the line too.
And
Hi, caller.
I didn't see that coming. That's for sure.
Sorry, sorry.
Yes, it was almost a steel cage match between me and this dog.
We still have to have our dogs meet because boy, do they go fight fencing all
Yeah,
the time.
that dog will kill our dog. If it
Fence fighting, not fight fencing. That's a stupid thing. To
Yeah,
say.
I've never seen that either. We have neighbors. So we've now lived here since February, so that's 5 months, 4 months, whatever. And our dogs, if they're ever outside at the same time, they fence fight. They
There's
go
the fence and they claw.
They just fight each other.
Then
It's like, you
there's-
guys are neighbors, you idiots. You're gonna see each other every day.
Then there's wood shavings all over their faces, just like
Our dog's
scratching.
all having a hyperventilation because
Like you guys are the same thing.
it's like relax.
You are canine.
You cannot attack each other through the fence. But you know what? They're going to evolve and eventually.
how's the gender?
The ginger?
They're both
Yeah,
girls.
yes, the gender difference.
I don't know. Mr. Puppy's a boy. I don't know. We'll be
yeah,
right back. You're
girl-
listening to Jeranism Monday
Girl
night.
versus boy.
Bro.
really just wanna die.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
Alberto heads north, Memorial Day 2018. I'm Ann Cates. Alberto has made landfall on the Florida Panhandle, packing 45-mile-an-hour winds. National Hurricane Center meteorologist Dennis Felkin says Alberto is battering the region with heavy rains.
4 to 8 inches of rain is expected across the northwest Florida Panhandle into much of Alabama and western Georgia, with isolated amounts up to 12 inches. And a good 2 to 6 inches of rain is expected on up into the Tennessee and Ohio Valley. This is very torrential tropical rainfall, so there'll be a lot of water in a short period of time. And there's a high risk of flash flooding across the Florida Panhandle, Alabama, and western Georgia.
Isolated tornadoes are also possible tonight in parts of Alabama and Georgia. Memorial Day is being observed across the U.S., including a ceremony today in Dallas.
Hundreds of Americans paying tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. The backdrop today at Dallas-Fort Worth National Cemetery, American flags, big and small, across the premises. People visiting the tombstones of soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice and just taking a moment to remember on this Memorial Day. Clayton Neville at DFW National Cemetery in Dallas.
Oil prices continue to fluctuate.
As you fill up after your holiday driving and cringe at the price, recall that oil prices surged to their highest level in over 3 years last week. Now those prices are slumping. A sharp decline blamed on the biggest oil exporter in the world, Saudi Arabia, and a top oil official who said the Saudis are considering pumping more oil in response to concerns that a heightened global demand could possibly lead to global shortages. I'm Jan Johnson.
S&P futures advancing by 1 point. The NASDAQ futures up 15. The Dow futures up 5. I'm Ann Cates.
Wherever you are, make it Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. And I was just thinking, as I was thinking that night, and have to ask the question, would there be some sort of legal responsibility if I had gone out there and for whatever reason this dog would have come at me, in which case I would have had to take the metal rake and pop it in its face, and let's say whatever happened. But my question is, because I was actually out trying to contact the neighbors to tell them that their dog was out, when really, technically speaking, I could have easily gone inside the house and shut the door. So I didn't have I don't want to say I was provoking the dog, but really I didn't need to go to the door to talk to the neighbors. So I could have just left and gone inside the house. I'm wondering what the legal ramifications for that would be. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, and I said pit bull. It's an American bull. It looks more like an English bulldog, but bigger, very large. Yeah, I didn't know him because he's the next door dog and he's always in the backyard and he barks like crazy at my dog. So I did not know if he was safe or not. And then after we met them at the door and they're like, "Oh, you must be talking about a different dog. Our dog's in the backyard locked up in the gate." I said, "No, we just went back there. The gate's locked." "No, we put the dog back there." But we then brought the dog out and the dog was completely friendly. So I don't think it'll ever happen again. But it made me really think, geez, if I would have taken another step or two, the dog looked like it would have come at me. But they said the dog had never hurt anybody, even though the neighbor across the street said differently. But anyway, it's just one of those things, you know. So welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining us. Missa left for a second. Let's see here. Do you guys want to play photo or painting? It's pretty fun. We'll try one here and see if you can get it. Okay, let's get it ready. So again, you have to decide, did I cut this up or is it in correct order?
The next sun, the next geothermal pond. Pretty sure of it. Everything works out. Like where the second sun has been caught on camera, just chasing our sun because it's going like this, while our sun's going, and it's going on around its area over there. And ours is coming back. Oh, no, it's coming back, and it looks like it's chasing ours, but it's turning over here. While ours goes, it's coming, ours is coming, and then back again. Do you understand what's going on? It's like a figure eight, but one sun's tailing the other. And it's like really close. Well, it's not close it's close in vantage. So it's a little dot caught on camera out at some 24-hour surveillance camera sites in Antarctica near the Neumayer station. And you can see multiple recordings in time lapse and also imagery and video of secondary light sources. And that light source is, you know what the light source, right, Kate, turns out is exactly where there's these monuments set up on Earth that align. And that line points to how you go through this geopond to the next. And then once in the other geopond, these monuments might show up again. So it's a way to find out which way to the next pond. So this is, if you don't know what we're talking about here, we're talking about there's no ice wall. There's and this is what started the flat Earth, because it was like a totally new flat Earth for people when it's been what's going on for, hundreds of thousands of years. They've just been wiping out humanity in this known area, or us, the individuals in this known area, every time we wake up. I think society here's probably been wiped out.
All right, so was that a real?
What does the chat say?
I'm gonna go there and check.
Should I say what I think it was?
Sure, you go ahead.
I'm gonna say you cut that shit up.
Okay, this person says not chopped. This person says Banana Nana Fana. It's a name game. All right. I love banana. All right, I guess nobody's playing the game, just me and you.
Okay, so I think it was choppy chop chop.
And Jason Campbell is correct. It was not chopped. That was straight from the mouth of Mr. Powerland. Yeah, all right, let's go to the phones. Oh. We got somebody up in Oregon.
We're playing a game kind of catch back and forth.
Back and forth. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? And where? Well, I know where you're from.
What's up, Jeranism? This is Joshua, Oregon. How you guys
Hello,
doing?
Joshua. Great.
Fantastic.
Is it short for Joshua or is it just Josh?
Awesome. It is short for Joshua. Joshua is my real name.
I know it's kind of a weird question, but sometimes.
Just to be honest.
Okay. All right. What's up?
Yeah. But, hey, I wanted to congratulate you guys on 100,000 subscribers. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Yeah, really cool.
I don't know if
Never
anyone
expected that.
congratulated you yet, but
Thank
yeah,
you.
like I was just thinking about that. I was like, that's amazing. Like 100,000 people have subscribed to your channel. That's I don't know, just thinking about it and just thinking about
is
the
weird.
thousands of views. And,
It's crazy. We were shocked when we
Yeah.
had 100 views on my first video. Was like shocking to us.
I remember you calling me when I was in Montana. You're like, babe, I have 500 subscribers. I'm like, oh my gosh, what?
Yeah, I remember that.
It was really funny. Even still now, it's like, what? It's crazy.
Yeah, but I learned a long time ago never look at that.
well-
So I don't look.
Yeah.
well, congratulations. It's cool, man. You guys are
Thank
definitely
you.
impacting people, and I think it's
Aw.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The other thing I was just gonna ask a question.
Ooh,
I have a
that's
friend
the-
who he's I've shared a lot of flat earth stuff with him, and he's definitely like, yeah, it really makes sense. But he's kind of one of those guys that's always like, yeah, but what about this? And the thing that he brought up was meteorites coming in, and he was kind of like the other day, he was like, what about meteorites? And so I started thinking about it, and he's like, we know that they come in and that they hit the ground, and so I started to think, well, is that true? Do they? I see lights come in, but do we have a lot of proof that they actually strike the ground, these rocks from space or whatever? And then I kind of started looking into it, and you see these giant, big, huge meteor holes, like huge, but you don't see any of the rock anywhere. And so I was just wondering, like, have you looked into that? Like, do you actually find actual rock that's come down from space, so to speak? Or it's not a globe Earth flat Earth killer. It's just interesting. And I looked into it, and I couldn't find a lot where I actually saw actual rock strike the ground.
No, and I've seen so much, BS with it that I just kind of gave up on it a while ago and just said, you know what? I don't think it happens the way they tell us. There's actually stories of like some lady laying on her couch that got hit by one in her thigh. It's like, what? Like, how
but then there's this book. You should look it up. There's an actual audiobook of it for free on archive.org. It's called The Book of the Damned by Charles Fort. And it talks about all these things, these observations of things falling from the sky that science and like the mainstream have rejected as ever happening, but these are like documented things of things happening that science can't explain, so they ignore.
You're talking about like spontaneous combustion
No,
or
I'm talking about-
spontaneous generation.
No, I'm talking about things falling from the sky like frogs.
That's what I meant.
Oh, spontaneous generation's a little different. Than
No,
that.
not if things fall from how did the frogs come to life if they fell out of the sky?
Well, they were dead mostly. Dead frogs falling from
Oh,
the
I
sky.
thought they were live frogs.
But I mean, there's just an interesting book because it's called The Book of the Damned because it's all like observations and situations that have happened but have been damned by the scientific community. But that's an
Interesting. Very
interesting
good
book to look at
book
for those
worth
kinds
reading.
of things. Hmm.
Let me tell you the story of the history's only known meteorite victim, Anne Hodges,
Oh,
was
Annie.
hit by a meteorite in her home in Alabama in 1954.
That's the photo?
There's
Holy cow. Talk about a bruise.
I'm going to put this in the chat. It's pretty funny. Yeah, this is a.
I don't know, though. It could just be like lava rock, or maybe it could be.
But it came into her house. It hit her in the house. I got to read the story.
I mean, they do say that when, supposedly, this is what they say, when meteors or meteorites or whatever, when they come down from the sky, from the space, and they hit the ground, they explode so much to where they almost like dissipate. And then you can maybe possibly find fragments. But then when you do, then they're worth a shit ton of money. But I don't know. I haven't looked much into it to see like what it is that is actually occurring. But that's a very good question, though. It is interesting. Very interesting.
What was that noise?
Yeah,
I don't know.
and I don't know. I look at I was the creator. If I created this place, it would make a lot of sense for me to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw some rocks down onto the earth, and maybe they'll just like strike somebody in their home. Like, it doesn't really make sense from like a creation standpoint of creating something. Like rocks are just gonna fall out of the sky.
Yeah, that sort of is meaningless almost.
I don't know.
I agree.
My prediction is crazy. I think that.
What do you think?
I think that the outer edge of the Earth is frozen, solid, and the mountains get higher and higher and become more frozen and frozen ice until they are at such a slant that it's just chunks of ice rolling down the mountain into the Earth.
Catching dirt on their way down?
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
They're just ice.
Frozen lava?
They're just ice meteor. That's what meteorites are. They're just ice. Frozen ice or some sort of, I don't know, iron or something.
It's moon rock, babe. Come on.
So on a clear afternoon in Sylacauga, Alabama, in 1954, Anne was napping on her couch covered by quilts when a softball-sized hunk of black rock broke through the ceiling, bounced off a radio, and hit her in the thigh, leaving a pineapple-shaped bruise.
Wow.
Her story is particularly rare because most meteorites usually fall into the ocean or strike one of Earth's vast remote places, according to Michael Reynolds. Think of how many people have lived throughout history, Reynolds said. You have a better chance of getting hit by a tornado and a bolt of lightning and a hurricane all at the same time.
The part of the story that they didn't tell you is that she pissed off somebody at the store a couple days before, and that person just shock-putted a rock through her roof.
It was a shock put. Definitely. That's a
Exactly.
shock. That's a shock put.
All right.
That sounds more plausible. That sounds way more plausible.
Good question, though. Good,
and it says here a government geologist working in a nearby quarry was called to the scene and determined the object was a meteor. He threw it.
Oh,
boy.
He's the one that she pissed off. Oh boy, here
Conspiracy.
we go.
All right, what's up? You have another question. Go ahead.
Conspiracy van.
One other thing before I go. I was just gonna ask, are you gonna do a video on the Aaron Ross thing, or did you just abandon it? And you don't need to. I don't think you need to. You originally were talking about it.
He's been working on it.
Yeah, it's actually almost done, but I keep having other things come up, and then.
Oh, cool.
He has been working on it.
It's coming out though.
Because leather is made of leather, by the way.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing. Like, leather is leather, Jerry. That's what it is.
Like a cow?
As long as he's at that point, I'm going to be so happy.
That would be in there?
Oh, it would absolutely be in there. You have to show that part.
No doubt, yeah.
The extent of his intelligence.
Sure it's made of cow.
Hey, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
That's not going to support this point.
I'm just some flat earther.
Anyways, guys, love it. Thanks for all you guys do.
Thanks.
Hey, appreciate it.
All right. Thanks,
Peace.
Jaha.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
We will take very much care. Now, what I'm curious about, did you hang up on the call yet? No, you did not.
Their name is blocked out. They must have hung up. I don't know.
Okay, well, click that check mark button.
I can't.
Yeah, you can. Oh, you can't.
No.
Because I can still hear the background noise.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
Okay. Well, then, we shall trudge forward.
Background noise. Will you please escape the earphones of my wife immediately, please?
That's not going to work. You have to do the Oregon generator for that sort of thing.
Oh, I don't know how to do that. Only you do.
Yeah, I do. I do know how to do it. And it's worked every time, by the way.
Not every time.
Yeah. My mom has not had kidney stones since I did it. And
Oh,
you got sick
your
right
mom
away.
has not? Really? I didn't know that.
She has not gone back to the hospital.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
It's been a year, too. So we know that sort of thing. Anyways, if you don't know what the Oregon generator is, you can look up Dr. Suzar. She talks about it. It's something that she can't explain, but it works, and I can't explain, but it works, and it's something that you do, and it has to do with, like, I don't know, but basically it works. So look it up. And also I blogged about it once. You can look it up on my blog, which is okay. All right, so that ends Mrs. Segment for the evening.
So I got all these sound clips. Like, look for one. What can I play? What can I play? What can I play? Which one can I play?
Crickets is a great one.
How about this one?
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Alrighty.
Pretty good, huh?
This is the extent of my husband's support for my ideas.
That's not true.
I know, I'm just kidding. It's not true. He supports me.
I want to be your friend. You hang up on me. You better hurt me. You hurt my feeling, you know.
Oh, yes. It's okay.
Fucking crazy, man. You sound insane. Do you realize that? You should be medicated.
I should.
That's the truth.
Why don't you medicate me then? Oh, no, you are indoctrinating me every day, trying to get me to say the words correctly.
Yes.
So I guess you are medicating
It's
me.
not a shock put, and it's not a cart table.
All right.
Actually, somebody sent a picture of a cart table. Did
Thank you. I bet they used to be on wheels. That's why I think of that.
They did.
No, we already decided what my theory was.
What cart table is on wheels?
The cart tables.
This is a cart table.
What's a cart table? No, that's a wheelbarrow. No, that's a wagon. That's a wagon.
No, it's not.
Or a coffee table or something.
It's a cart table.
That's a
Cart coffee table.
Yeah, so it has wheels on it. It just looks just like it. No, it doesn't look very different.
What is this thing called?
That is a cart.
I want one of these.
I know you do.
Wow.
Oh, by the way,
if
you ever need help with your John Deere 14 PZ lawnmower, well, we spent about 4.5 days straight on trying to fix it. And
It's in the backyard.
maybe you don't want to call us actually to help you fix it.
I wouldn't make it.
But we would be able to tell you where something is inside of it because we told
We'll
them
tell you where
that
everything is. I'll clean your carburetor for you. I'll do all that for you. But if you want it to run again, I'd go somewhere else.
Yeah, you might want to. Yeah, it should be running when you bring it to us. We're just gonna
if you want
shine it up.
If you want your grass cut, call us. We'll go over there with the string weed eater and do the grass. That makes it look like a really bad haircut.
Yeah. That was actually really good. We did a pretty good job.
It looked good at night until the next day.
Yeah, well, the suggestion would be don't turn off your sprinklers that come on automatically because that'll cause some problems with your.
Especially in this town where it's 100 and something degrees every day.
It'll just show all of the errors and with your. If you've ever tried to mow the lawn with an edger, don't or do and just know that it's not what you expect. But it is kind of fun. It's kind of Zen gardening. You kind of experience something that you never should have or need to experience if you just have a lawnmower or people who mow your lawn for you. But hey, experience is better than none. Okay.
Very good. What is this thing?
Where's my crickets button so I can put the crickets on myself?
I don't.
Who does that? Who has time?
I have a lot of time for crickets.
Oh, that's all.
So
I
what
have
are you doing over there, babe?
I was looking something up. I
Oh.
was actually reading about this meteorite because there was this whole lawsuit after because the girl that got hit said she wanted it, and then the owner of the house said, "Nope, that's my meteorite. That's my house. I own it. You see, sir?"
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, because they're worth a lot.
Well, it went to court and ended up settling out of court for $500. Then 2 years later, the lady died.
And then who got the rock? The husband killed her. The homeowner killed her.
No, he paid her for the rock. He had the rock.
He already had the rock. Oh, okay.
Yes.
And then she died. So somebody killed her for the money.
Oh, wait. I lied. Guy settled out of court giving up her claim to the meteorite in exchange for $500. Eugene was convinced the couple could make big money off the rock and turned down a modest offer from the Smithsonian, but no one bit, and so Hodges donated the meteorite to the Natural History Museum in '56, where it's still on display today.
You know what it probably is? If these things are really falling from the sky, they could be
petrified wood.
Dead stars.
I've seen dead stars. Aren't they just those metal things?
You've seen dead stars
on videos where people find those metal
think
things
that they're
that fall
dead
out of the
stars.
sky.
They could be dead satellites, for all we know.
Could be. Could very well be.
Those are weird things.
I think it's possible if you think about the magnetic layout of things.
Yeah.
You could probably put something in some sort of magnetic lock.
Yep.
That would. Although I think you could probably only do it on the equator.
Almost like what you dreamt about, like jumping up so high that you just start to magnetically move around.
No, I had a dream one time that we tied a string.
Yes.
I learned how to do orbits. I said you tie like a metal string to a satellite.
Gotcha.
Then you launch it out of a cannon at as fast as it can go.
Mm-hmm.
And it would get up into the air, and then it's stuck. The metal string is tied to the North Pole.
Nice.
And then it would be stuck in perpetual motion around the Earth.
Congelatumness.
But the problem with that is there would be too much friction from the atmosphere on the metal rope, and it wouldn't last very long.
So pendulumnity in orbit. A pendulumnity.
Excuse me, sorry?
Like a pendulum, but
I don't think that's the word.
Well, I know. See, that's the second made-up one this evening that I was trying to teach you.
I don't think that's a word, though.
Pendulumnity. It sounds really good. The first word that came out of my mouth was not pendulumnity, but it was supposed to be. All right.
Nope.
So for those of you listening who are taking notes like good listeners, I'm going to test you at the end of the
Don't
evening.
do it. Don't take notes.
Jaron will lose. He'll get an F, and you guys will get A pluses.
Don't do it. I wouldn't take
And
notes.
spelling doesn't matter. It's just about how it sounds, okay?
Smoke weed every day.
All right. Let's go back to the phones, and maybe there'll be one there. Maybe not. Nope. No, it was fun. It was worth the try.
I'll call in.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's do a call with Missa. Okay, go ahead. Going to the phones now. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Hi. I was just calling to say that you guys really, really need to.
It's not a cart table. Sorry, ma'am. Call back some other time. Nice try, Missa. Nice try. You were gonna try and say something about the cart table. I knew what was going on the whole time. I'm not gonna allow this stuff here. Nice try. You want to try again? No cart table. No shock put.
Okay.
You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Yes, if Procock was spelled without the L, it would sound like Procock. I agree.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Thank you.
I don't know how to play a. There we go. It was a little late.
That's an old joke. That's an old one. If you rewind in the archives back to December.
Had me a blast. Summer loving happened so fast. I met a girl crazy for me. Met a boy cute as can be. Summer days drifting away.
People are getting upset. People don't like them. They don't like it. They don't like the soundboard. They're really, really not happy.
I'm not liking it right now.
Oh, guess what I finally found?
What?
I found the news update.
Haven't you had that for a very long time?
Yeah, but I couldn't find it earlier. I found it now. It's
Oh.
under C's.
Well, that was. Womp, womp, womp.
That wasn't good.
I was going to comment about 6 times in a row about 6 different things, but I forget what they were, so.
Because I was interrupting you?
Yeah, thanks for that.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never.
But I did have sexual relations with that other woman that died at the Starbucks that got
Correct.
shot by the robbers.
I was going to say, he didn't lie there. I do not think he had sexual relations with that woman,
No,
Monica Lewinsky.
She was a face, a front
Notice
character.
he even said her name after her.
Yeah.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Yeah, good.
I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never.
See, he's telling the truth there. He told other
is
people
telling
to
the
tell
truth.
people to lie. You tell Mary to lie. And then he didn't have sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky.
Mhm.
He had sexual relations with the MM,
Yeah.
the initials that Ken Starr gave at the beginning.
Look into it. Do your own research, but it pretty much looks that way.
Look into the robbery at the Starbucks
The
where
quote-unquote robbery.
Yeah, where no money was taken of the $4,000 out of the register.
Mhm.
4 people were killed. Mary Mahoney, 4 bullets or 8?
I don't know. And the door was locked shut when the police showed up.
Yep, the door was closed behind them. No money taken, and they said robbery. That's not a robbery usually, and they were locked in the back office.
Yeah.
And shot there.
Yeah.
So yes, if you're still a believer,
Close them up, shoot them out, get them out, do it.
and this is the thing, they also teach people to say, well, if the president couldn't get away with a blowjob, then how could any conspiracy happen?
They
and the
always
fact is,
say that.
the president got away with having an affair, then
And
murdering
murder.
the person.
Yeah, that's what he got away with.
That's what he got away with. So there was no blowjob with. They
They
had
let a
cum on
blowjob
my.
leak out.
They had a cum on my dress. Yeah, sure they did. Yeah, that's people
Yeah.
fall for the easy stuff too
And the
easy.
dress is blue. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yanni.
I believe you.
Yanni.
Sure. Let's ask the crowd that one. I mean, I'm a Laurel myself.
Hey, everyone's different. You know, everyone has their own ear situation. Okay, I could hear high pitches and you can hear low pitches.
Everybody is different. That's true.
Creative as God is, who made me. That's the difference between the ape and me.
Well, I'm an ape. I'm an African ape. And I'm very proud to be an African ape.
Yeah.
And so should you be.
Wow. Richard Dawkins, folks.
African ape.
I'm an ape. I'm very proud to be an ape. Very proud of my appendages, and
you know
I
what?
swung from the trees.
And everyone is entitled to their own belief, you know.
Whose voice is that supposed to be?
What?
The voice you're doing there. It's like a southern belle?
My southern belle, Daisy Duke.
I kind of like it.
It's kind of my.
Can you put on a blonde wig and drive a Kia Sorento?
Sure. In her Kia Sorento.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like what's her name?
Judge, what's her face?
No, she's not a judge.
Nancy Judge. That lady that does that show on
give me a
TV.
second. No, Nancy Pelosi's
Check the chat. Someone's gonna pull it up. Someone's
Nancy
gonna know.
Pelosi's the bird girl.
Chat, they know. Look at the chat.
Nancy,
Jason Campbell's gonna get it. He always gets the answer right.
First one, quick. Nancy,
the lady that does the judging
heavy
show.
blonde girl.
She has kind of like a twang to her.
Nancy, not Pelosi. Nancy. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Somebody will get it. God, why can't I? Nancy Grace.
Beautiful.
Why is her last name Grace?
Campbell, Jason Campbell, taking it home.
Extendivite really works. Just listen to what some people have to say.
Several years ago, I was developing a very severe situation. I called it my flippy heart. It was doing not good things, and I did not want to go to a medical doctor because I just knew they would give me a cover-up pill. I didn't want to get onto that sort of thing at all. When I learned it was garlic and cayenne is a healer. It is a wonderful herb. I said, I think I'm onto something here. I'll tell you, I wouldn't be without it. It did wonderful things for me.
Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid. Call now. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Hi, this is Suzanne of Suzanne's NaturalHealthRx.com. I'm a certified functional medicine health professional and hold a doctorate in naturopathic medicine. If you're suffering from any sort of chronic health condition that you and your doctors just can't seem to get to the bottom of, or if you want to lose weight, or just plain want to feel and look better, then go to my website, Suzanne's NaturalHealthRx.com, and schedule a consult. Together, we will go through your medical history, diet and lifestyle, environmental factors, lifestyle stressors, sleep patterns, hormones, and much, much more to try to get you to where you want to be. Oh, and be sure to send me a message using the Contact Me button. Let me know you heard about me here on Truth Frequency Radio for 10% off. Where man's food and medicine have failed us, let's give nature a try after all. Her medicine has been around for, well, since the beginning of time. Not a bad track record, wouldn't you say?
Hi everyone, this is Sean from the Awakening Liberty Show. Are you and your family prepared for an emergency? Have you ever thought about investing in food and water storage? Well, if you have, I urge you to check out my one-stop prepper shop. AwakeningLibertyStore.com carries the full line of legacy premium non-GMO made in USA emergency food storage and survival gear. Folks, I've tried them all, and Legacy Premium is the best I've found. Boasting the lowest cost per pound, the lowest cost per calorie, and the largest serving size in the industry, Legacy Premium is simply the best. Not to mention, all of our entrees were developed by chefs and voted best tasting in blind taste tests, and I personally concur. Also, be sure to check out our new Ilios Solar Power Backup Generator Systems by Bannock. It is an incredibly expandable, lightweight, and modular solution for power outages, long-term emergencies, and outdoor activities. Shop AwakeningLibertyStore.com and use coupon code PATRIOT for a special listener discount, or you can call me personally at 775-276-4046. Once again, AwakeningLibertyStore.com.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
You are listening.
You're listening
to Jeranism.
And me.
Monday night. Raw.
With Missa.
Celebs who can't stand Jimmy Fallon
What?
are friends of mine. I'm reading
Yeah,
you the story.
damn straight.
Jimmy Fallon really bothers me.
I just, he.
It's the overacting. It's the clapping like this. And
the
it's
laughing and obnoxious. Now his excuse is, and you've heard about it.
But at least he's not Jimmy Kimmel.
Holy Lord, sellout of all sellout.
At least he doesn't get on stage and cry every night.
If we could just, as Americans, realize that the gun control needs to be. Hold on.
Trump is just going to sit there and do nothing. Trump's going to do nothing.
My daughter. Oh, hold on. Let me just wipe my tears. He has a daughter.
I don't know what he has.
Well, whatever. He cries about every false flag.
Yeah, everything that happens is he cry about it.
And just tells everybody whatever, the bullshit. But
we got to get rid of the guns while he gets led around by security guards with guns.
So what was the list of Jimmy Fallon non-fans?
I was just happy to notice there's some.
There was some. Okay.
Well, it says famous people, celebrities who can't stand him, but I don't care who they are.
Oh, you don't? Oh man, I do.
I don't care.
Because that means they don't take to bullshit.
They don't take kindly to that bullshit here.
Yeah. Oh, again, props to Jason Campbell for always getting the answers correct.
And he wins like every contest and everything.
Great.
He's like he's our number one fan.
You're my number.
You know what you win? You win dinner with us.
When?
Whenever you'd like. Whenever he wants.
Oh, we can make him a nice chicken dinner.
We can do a chicken dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer some salmon.
Oh, salmon pasta. I can make some fish pasta for you.
She makes a killer salmon pasta.
You make the garlic bread.
I'll make the garlic bread.
Mm-hmm. And we'll do even maybe some corn on the cob.
Interesting.
On the side.
I like the idea.
Some freshly picked corn from the backyard. Nope, that's not true.
Erroneous. Erroneous on both counts.
Yep, that's true.
I don't know what the two counts were, but
whenever you decide to
come on out.
Come on out. We're always here.
We are here. Let's check the phones.
Okay.
See if anybody's here.
Questions? Ooh, two.
We got one. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this and where are you from?
Hello. It's me. It's Regular Girl. Hi. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? You probably can, right?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Hello. All right. I just was thinking when you talked about Jimmy Kimmel and I don't know the other guy's name. I've stopped watching TV. They're just not funny anymore. But what I was thinking is a great idea. I really like that you're commenting on their lack of being funny. I think they need it. Haven't had any. We're able to do this now because we got the internet and you guys got the shows. So good thing you're watching and letting us know how not funny they are because they're not funny. That's why I stopped watching.
No.
So, that's right.
We don't have
we
TV,
get to
though,
say
so
that now because the internet.
We watch them on YouTube.
Yeah, we watch them on YouTube, the clips, and we're just like, oh my Lord.
Yeah, we don't have TV.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I don't either.
Cool.
I don't need. It's the pretend TV then we have, right? We pretend we don't watch TV. Watch it on the internet. All right. I got it. No, I do the same thing. It's okay. It's cool. That's all I wanted to say. I don't have a lot. I don't have anything profound. I just wanted to give a shout out there for that'd be a great every week. You guys should just tell us about what you can find something. You can find something to make fun of them about.
I like
They're
it.
idiots.
That's a good idea.
Okay, that's all I got to say.
There it is. We can have a segment. Thanks for calling.
That was a great call.
We should have a segment of what did Jimmy Kimmel cry about this week?
Oh, yeah.
We'd have to watch the show,
though. What did the sell out about this time?
Yeah, it's always something. It's always
it really is.
He's got to make fun of Shaq because of the flat Earth, or make fun of Kyrie Irving because of the flat Earth.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to cry at every false flag and talk about how guns, if we got rid of guns, that would make everything better.
And it's always so funny too watching when they have somebody on, whether it's on Jimmy Kimmel or it's on Jimmy Fallon show or whatever. When they have someone on that they start talking saying things out of the ordinary or not so much in the
he shuts that down quick.
He changes subject like that, and it is so obvious. It is hilarious because knowing what we know and recognizing
Bill Burr
so
always
funny.
Bill Burr always gets them.
Gets them okay, and great. We'll talk to you later.
Come back
then.
next time. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, so funny and obvious. That's good. Good idea. Hey, maybe we can incorporate that with some future live streams
I like
we're
that.
talking about.
Yes, we've been talking about that because I keep getting a request to do a nightly show, but for just an hour. I know I could do it. I have plenty of research and stuff that is backed up for.
You could just get it out there, But if we had one
night,
night,
I don't think anybody wants to hear me.
But if we had one night dedicated to making fun of the the funnies.
But we have to watch it then.
Well,
we don't watch it.
Well, if it was,
I find enough crap that it's still.
If it's
hilarious.
just one day dedicated to it, though, then we just that one day just watch a few videos, even if they're old or new, whatever, making fun of them, doing like or whatever.
That's really easy to do.
I know, but again, it's like, are we stooping to their level, or does it need to be done for people to wake up to like, look, these people are not out to entertain you; they're pushing a mindset. And
I got one of the strangest emails the other day from somebody who said, "Stop doing what you're doing."
Oh, nice.
But because either people can see it or they're too dumb, and you are
too intelligent sounding. I get that.
Well,
a lot.
they said
you get
like
that a lot.
they said like
I don't
you're
get it
trying to explain to the people that will never see it. And the people that do see it already are with you. You're trying to basically talk to idiots. That's what their email said.
Well, sorry, we care about the people who we used to be. We care about those people, unfortunately, and they don't get it yet. But some people, they will eventually.
Yeah. So if you
Not
don't
for
know
a
about the
lifetime.
test we're going to do, the test we want to do.
Screw you, guy who just emailed us about that. Anyways, thank you very kindly for thinking of us. That was nice.
Very nice of you,
gesture.
but we're trying to get that one proof because, again, if NASA was who they say they are, then they would send out a rep when I announce this experiment, send out a rep and have them come out and watch the experiment, film it, because they should have every...
They would love to, right?
it
Because
proves
they know
is
the Earth is a globe. So
but if they
it's
don't
not
get to
gonna
set it
come
up,
out
then the same thing's not going to happen as happened with Stephen Hawking. So...
Yeah, and if it's a waste of their time. Their precious globe time is a waste.
Right, they get more important things to do, like apply for grants.
Yeah.
You know?
And push the political agendums.
Yes.
There's a reason why it's called political science, okay?
Do you want to try another photo or painting?
I do actually. I forgot about that game.
Excuse me.
So far I'm 0 for 2.
That was rude. Are you 0 for 2?
Pretty much.
All right, let's try. Let's see which one I got next. Don't look at the screen because you might be able to tell if it's chopped up or not.
All right, here we go.
Don't want to do that. I don't think this is the one. Maybe this one. Let me see. I don't remember which one. Let's try this one. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
And he can't test us to see who is the central character by, asking for 25% or 50% on-screen camera time. So why would I be an accessory to somebody who came into the Flat Earth 3 years ago, unless it's a hit piece? And it was. It was a hit piece on the Flat Earth and on you. And then, wow, to have these other people in their elements.
Oh, no, I
with
think
rubber
this is what-
hammers and ping pongs. Like my coordination with a hacky sack somehow will lend credos to my authority on physics. It's just, anyways, if you don't have a shirt and you're in the stream, or you don't have a shirt and you're going around saying the Earth is flat, I'm the one who started it, and I don't say it's flat without that being addressed or that shirt on. So good luck. So you want to look like an... Anyways, June 9th, 8th, and 9th, we're having the mixer here, so if you want to even be a presenter of stuff or be a vendor selling stuff, let us know, because it's going to be a store soon.
What?
It is private, so you have to do PayPal, RSVP, $20 donation.
You don't want somebody coming in and saying that it's you. If you've been like, oh, I'm going, and then someone shows up and they're like, it's me, Ding-a-ling McDing-dong, and Ding-a-ling McDing-dong shows up and he's already inside, then
you get a good look at a bull's ass if you stick your head up the butcher's.
It's going to cause a problem. So that's why we want you to do PayPal.
Yeah, so MGTV got a hold of the bootleg of Behind the Curve. Do not use your hard-earned money to support.
Okay, so I'm going to guess.
Yeah,
I think you chopped that up. There was a couple parts in there that did not sound congruent with the...
No. We'll do it next time when I have better time to go through them. Because
So was it cut up or
that
was it
was
not?
that was real.
Oh, what did the chat say?
I'm sure they knew it was real.
Oh.
It was a coherent conversation. That part was
But
coherent.
there was like 1 or 2 parts where we just like jumped into shirt.
But if you ever want to play a game like we play, it's called Matthew Boylan Roulette.
Yeah. Just pick any video and click at any time, fast forward to a spot, and then listen to what he has to say, and then click to another spot, and then listen to what he says. It's pretty fun.
Okay, so we'll do this one. We'll play that game. I'm going to load this video in here. We're going to play the game. It's called Boylan Roulette. And we like Matthew. That's the thing.
Here's the thing. Yes, I am an original fan.
We had him over our house for a barbecue. He accused us of being FBI.
I remember watching his videos when he talked about laundry detergent and and the scam of a fabric softener, and he also talked about Kennedy, and he had a big painting of a $1 bill with $11.
We liked him. He was
He's
integral.
awesome. Great.
But then when then you just go too far.
When he consistently continues though to say that we are not what we are.
You're hanging out with Mark Sargent. You're getting involved with Patricia. What are you talking? When am I hanging out with Mark Sargent?
Yeah, no.
Because I went to the same Flat Earth conference.
Yeah. So anyways,
I could have stayed
really
home
like
and I could have stayed home and done nothing like Matthew did.
For what he has contributed to my my knowledge base and my awakening against the
But you want to talk about somebody who has the.
I like him.
He had the opportunity
To redeem himself a couple times.
not redeem himself. He has the opportunity to be the head flat earther. I mean,
If there is the position, if there were to be a position for
if
it,
he ever wanted it,
I
but
think he could have. Yeah.
He's a little bit. If you and I started every show with an hour of you playing horrible music and me playing horrible guitar, singing horrible songs,
Hey,
we would
now.
not have a very good fan base.
To each his own, even tone deafness. Okay.
All right, here goes Boiling Roulette. What do we got? Oops, sorry, I wanted to change the volume so you can hear it.
Okay.
They also have a very big volume problem, which is, according to them, Google's fault.
I can barely ever hear their.
That's actually YouTube censoring them.
Yeah, totally. And the CIA is stealing their babies. Now
They also OBS. There's somebody who micromanages the OBS program that they use.
Now it wouldn't surprise me though.
Goes in there.
Knowing what we know, it wouldn't surprise me. But you just don't say that shit.
It would surprise me because I see that he's doing it wrong. I know how. OBS
Right,
works.
got you.
It's clearly not what he's saying is happening, but
Are we playing the game or are you just playing clip?
we're playing. Well, you said we want to play roulette,
Yeah, roulette. Yeah, go.
but I have
His
to.
older shit's
I have
really
to
funny,
compressor it because otherwise you won't hear it. There we go.
Give it a look at
I know it's flat, but I don't know by how much. By a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think we're 3,000 feet up. So we got front row, I think, when the wave comes. I think it's supposed to be 1,000 feet or something.
Won't all the mountains stop it?
Well,
They just get flooding.
I'll be honest with you.
Speak up, because they say they can't hear us.
I'll be honest with you. Why? It's like full blast.
I know, because they're dumb. Just speak up.
No, they're not.
Okay.
Wow,
Holy smokes.
Did she pull that one?
It's because you haven't figured out the volume control on your.
Yeah, and it's also called you got to.
But a lot of you guys are our best friends and supporters, and then half of you guys are.
It just changes around.
Because there's people in the chat who actually think that I'm 9 years old.
Oh, but.
All right, that was a good one. Let's do another one.
And there's also people who are in the live stream
Here we
thinking
go.
that they're serious.
Here we go with another roulette. Spin the bottle.
Okay, ready, set, go.
Because here he is siding with two guys.
Okay, let's try it again.
Next.
You're the realest one of all, and you don't use a script, and the rest of them do, and they just want to be just like you. You know, they just want to act, and they want to paint, and they want to create.
Keep hiding behind your little slideshow of images or your dark screen with the title of your show or your page.
But they're fake, and they don't show their face.
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
losers, and they sit at home, and they live with their moms, and they're 49 years old.
So we want to be like Matthew. We want to paint.
Yep.
And
We live with our moms.
We live with our moms. Mom, keep it down. I've got my show going.
She's always bragging about
Unbelievable.
her meteorite that hit her thigh all the time.
And your mom's always talking about she's got some sort of
Jesus curtains to make or something.
And she used to always have kidney stones, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not since the Orgon generator.
Yep, absolutely.
And she helped us bring that cart table in
Mhm.
the day after the shock put went through the roof.
And she prayed about it, and it
Thank you, Jesus.
All right, and we also are. What else did she say?
Dumb.
The first.
Let's try. Here we go.
Because you gotta realize that the first pages are bullshit, and he's right about the sea bass sanctuary.
That's what's fun about Boiling Roulette. That is classic. Let's continue here. Let's spin again.
I love him deep his heart.
Go look at that site. It's the same typhoon. It's been about to hit Japan for 4 years. It's like, no, it's always frozen. ISS Live, it's offline. Huh? It's a replay of it live. It's like, but you go there and you go, well, it's there. No, it's not. You didn't see F all. And they know that it's so great that you're just going to go, okay, there's a channel showing the Earth from space. But you don't realize that you're not seeing anything. It's frozen.
All right, let's go again. Ready?
Yeah. That's pretty good.
That's my spin the bottle.
I like it.
It's funny.
Don't understand how do you age? How do you...
It is funny.
how do you age, man? That's weird.
Maybe Google is messing with their sound there because they were getting to the truth, obviously, there with the fish face that was going on. Okay, spin again. You make the sound this time. So really off-kilter bottle.
Whippoorwill.
This is funny.
Whippoorwill.
We were just sitting here laughing, going, it was like the video where I made reptile.
Sorry?
Oh, yeah.
Where I
Remember
made
when
lizard?
I made reptile? And you went, congratulations, babe, you made it. I
Oh,
was
you
like,
went
what is
reptile
this?
too, eh?
Yeah, my long fingers, my keyboard hands are apparently talons.
He wears his sunglasses so you don't see his lizard slits.
Wow.
Yep.
Let's try again.
Jake, you're
Didn't
not
know that
funny.
You were that stupid.
Jake, here's the deal, Jake.
That's pretty bad.
Jake,
Stop hitting the mic.
you don't have one.
Stop hitting the mic. One more spin.
Okay, one more.
I will find you, and I will, and I won't finish the rest of Liam Neeson's lines because then I'll have the police show up here. You threatened murder.
No, it's going to be like, you're in copyright violation of Liam Neeson, sir.
So
she totally ruined
we just want to be here midday. We're gonna do a real early, I think, like late show or late afternoon stream here.
We're gonna do a real early
late show. And I'm gonna start learning it as fast as I can.
Is that the real time, 150?
And we're just gonna do some sounds, record, and I'll shoot my mouth off about a few other things that I'm researching. And I'm gonna let you know. So we are going to wrap it up. That was our late morning, midday Flat Earth show, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this Mike Adams and Real.video as the official new platform to compete against YouTube censoring free speech.
Thank you, Matthew, and sorry for the FBI in the upstairs bedroom.
And sorry for laughing, but you are entertaining. You cannot deny that.
It is entertaining.
Whatever the
my
reasonings
favorite game might be Boiling Roulette, but maybe we could go like against each other. Like you've got to spin, and then you pick one, and then whoever's funnier.
Oh, that would be a good show or
Yeah.
a good segment.
Or we could just do it after the show and have fun with that.
Okay,
It sounds like fun.
segmentation. Okay, okay, gotcha.
One-on-one in Boiling Roulette.
Nice.
So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. And well, I don't
Thank
know if
you
you're-
so much for supporting us, everybody.
Everybody, thank you so much to our
With your
patrons.
love and with your support and with
your sharing
Mhm.
our videos and sharing this very show.
Share it up.
And despite Little Miss maternity over here and her claim that all of us use a script, which is not true. If you didn't notice, we do a weekly 3-hour broadcast in which we do not use a script.
Yeah.
And that's why there's such things as cart tables and shot put.
Mhm. And there's an archive of videos of you showing your face many a time. Many.
Yeah. And,
Maybe twice.
There's something called not being a narcissist and not needing to have people see me in my orange glasses and morning hair.
Just because people show their face, so doesn't mean you're a narcissist. But I'm just not one to. I don't like showing my face. I think I have none. And
I think there's something different. There
got-
must be something different with people who like to show their face on YouTube. I don't understand it. There's people who like to have they'll be talking about something and you've got to have their picture in a little box. Like who the hell cares what, like God rules or other people.
It's a different kind of.
It's not narcissism. What is it?
It's not. I think it's. If anything, it's like a comfortability with how you look or something.
That's called narcissism.
Is it really?
No, it's not. It's more like you love how you look and you think you
Not
look.
love,
No,
comfortable.
I don't think narcissist means comfortable.
Okay, good. See, so I'm describing something a bit different.
Yeah, I think a narcissist is. I wonder if there's somebody who's done a study. I don't know why some people, because it's not always good-looking people.
It's not. No, it's not, and not always, but it's not always not either. Too.
No, sometimes it is good-looking people.
But again, with us, I know it's about the information, and it's about what we're talking about, or it's about the essence of what is being spoken, rather than look at me and look at my face. But I think, but it is important it's important to show your face, at some point, only because then people know that you're a real person.
Sure, yeah, that's why it's important to me. I mean, Red's Rhetoric and those guys are just right, because I don't need people looking at me, because then they're not watching the content, they're not listening to what I'm saying.
They're more inclined
They're more
to
worried.
comment
I mean,
on that, yeah.
women would be practically hugging the screen throughout the entire. It was my attempt at narcissism.
Yeah, they would. Oh boy, would they just be? I mean, you would end up leaving me because you would have a harem of women just waiting for you outside.
Yeah, they would be flocking like the springtails.
You are the second best looking guy in Gilroy.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
That's cute.
Narcissism is the pursuit of gratification from vanity or egotistic admiration of one's own attributes.
In some cases, that is what's happening. But other cases, there's, oh, my foot just went into the bowl of water. Oh, boy, that was cold.
Why do we have a bowl of water?
That's for puppies.
Oh, that's the puppies. All right.
But in most cases, I would say people are not narcissistic. They're just comfortable in showing who they are and don't care what people think. And then there's other people who absolutely care what people think. So then they gussy it up and get it up and go and push up and...
It's got to be something else. It's got to be. It's not just
either one of those.
Okay, but if I'm okay with how I look, but I certainly don't feel a need for people to look at me when I'm talking on YouTube. Right, that's
a third one. Yeah, we're the third one.
So what is the reason that somebody who's not? Because I wouldn't say that I'm a model status.
No.
Now I would understand if I was. Maybe I would say, hey, I would get more viewers if I showed my face or something like that. But the people who are not good looking, who are mediocre, but want their face on videos. What is the reason for that?
They're photogenic and we are not.
But they're not photogenic.
Okay, well, they think they are. Just like Yang Zhuang thought he could sing on American Idol, but he could not.
That was pretty funny. His name was...
he ended up even making a CD.
Richard Hung.
Oh, that's what it was.
No, something Hung.
Hung or...
I think it was Hung.
Maybe it was Song even.
Nope, it was H-U-N-G.
Okay.
Do you want to bet?
No, because I believe you.
Last time you bet. What did we bet last time you lost?
I don't know, my soul.
No.
Okay, what?
I don't remember what the bet was. It was in the...
Started with a B and ended with a J, I believe.
Yeah, that's what the
acronym spelling is.
No, but what was the bet?
Sorry.
What was the bet for?
It was...
Not for. What was it about?
Oh, it was about...
whether or not we had done something sometime or something that I was able to prove to you that you were wrong.
Oh, just yesterday? Like with how many little screens?
It was maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Anyway, show's about to end.
How many bunnies we would see if we would see any at the
Nope. It was in the room with the shuffleboard.
Okay.
We were talking about something. Whether or not we had already nailed in the one leg.
Oh, yes. Okay. You won.
Sorry.
That was very... Wow, that was a prominent one.
Talk about radio gold right there.
I bet you we already screwed that leg in. I bet you we didn't. All right, let's bet on it.
Even though I already knew that it had to have been screwed in.
But I really
Then she got mad at me for making the bet when I knew I had won. But I said, that's what the point of the bet is.
Yeah, but you knew.
I know I did.
So
that's why I said, do you want to bet? I know that we screwed that leg in. That's the whole point of it.
But I didn't get a chance to guess the number.
That is a funny story.
7. No, your brother got it.
Very funny story. Very funny.
We only have 6 minutes left. Maybe you could tell us.
6? I think we have less than that, but I don't know.
Is there a funny Corey story that you could tell? I mean, those just got me going so...
My sister's got some good ones, though. My sister's stories are funny. She wanted to be like... important in school or something, and a teacher asked, does anybody have any family members that are in the service? And my sister just felt like raising her hand, and then they said, oh yes, Kelly, who? And she said, oh, my brother is in the army. And they said, oh, what? Or is it? I said, what branch? And she said, oh yeah, my brother's in the army. I said, oh, what branch? Salvation. She said, in like 3rd grade. So that was a good one.
I love that thrift store.
But my sister, yeah, my dad one time said, all right, we were fighting for front seat. My dad said, all right, Jeran Kelly, pick a number, 1 or 2. And I said, 2. And he goes, okay, you got it. You get the front seat. And my sister threw a fit, and she said, but I didn't even get to pick a number. My dad said, okay, pick one. She said, 1. Nope. In the back. Pretty funny.
Classic.
Or she was probably like 12 or 13 when she asked my mom, whose birthday is July 1st, if her birthday ever fell on the 4th of July. So that answer is nope.
Did it ever?
They're rarely just the first ever land on the 4th.
Well, now the 4th of July,
By the way, the 4th of July is actually my half birthday. That's why there's the fireworks celebration and everything.
Everyone's like, oh my gosh, we're halfway to Jeran's birthday.
He's almost 40. You know, that kind of thing. So anyway, guys, if you like our content, which, I mean, every show we've ever done is better than this one.
Yes.
So just rewind.
Tonight was just a hot and heavy.
Find the archives if you could.
Fun time situation.
But, we'd love to search the truth full time. We can't do it yet, but we're very close. We could actually live off $3,000 a month. That's $36,000 a year in California.
Mm-hmm.
There's not very many couples that could say that with a dog and a renting house and a 95 Ford truck.
And stomachs.
Yeah, we have stomachs and a need for internet service. Better than the current. I think I'm getting about 12 megabytes per second here.
Well, we have to shut off all the computers first, which, oh boy, this is first world jitters.
Patreon.com/Jeranism. Support us, help us out, $1, $5, or just share the videos. Till next time, peace.
And love.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for